Well, live is definitely the word. But we are on the road to WrestleMania. And as we begin to wrap up certain feuds, while some are just getting started, this is that time of year where fans are kind of taking a deep breath to prepare themselves for what could happen or could potentially not happen. But we'll definitely get into it after this.
Houston, we have a problem.
Yes! What you gonna do? 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 What you gonna do?
Oh yeah.
Woo!
I was waiting for the woo. Like I purposely waited for the woo.
Mm-hmm.
But when you hear the woo, you know what that means. That means it's time to start the show. We are here once again, like I said before the intro, on the road to WrestleMania. Brothers, there's been some drama going on in the world of professional wrestling. And I'm not talking about the drama that we see every week. I'm talking about some serious drama. But listen, we'll have plenty of time to get into that. But first, let me ask you guys, how are you guys doing today?
Well, I'm good, man. Day off of the middle show fan club.
What? You day off?
No, of the middle show of TWG fan club because they out
Okay.
celebrating Krista B's birthday this week. Shout out to her.
Okay.
But y'all know me. I always got to fill the time with something. So I just interviewed Stephanie Hardy for the Breaking Through Glass Ceilings podcast. So
Excellent.
been doing that. That was fun. That's always good to catch up with Stephanie. And Wednesday Worldwide was a lot of fun today. You know, Bad Bunny was announced, so I'm excited. I might have convinced Cal and Ben to go to Puerto Rico for Backlash. So who knows? You know, I don't know not one Bad Bunny song, but I tell you, I'm a fan of his because he like wrestling, just like me.
Puerto Rico. So is that the move? Backlash, brother. You taking a bus trip to Puerto Rico?
I'm not taking a bus trip. I'll tell you that. You know,
I'm done with buses.
You done with buses?
Yeah, man, I can't do it no more. I'm done.
You listen. You always have the best bus trips when you take those. I feel like
retired.
Part of me wants to go on an adventure with you. Like, I want to see what type of this foolishness we get. I'm just going to document everything.
Nah,
bro. You know what? That would be on brand. I mean, me and you took the train shenanigery to Greensboro, North Carolina.
We definitely took a train to Flair Country. It was a 15-hour ride because
I'll say this publicly.
It was supposed to be 9 hours, but it was 15-hour ride because out of all the days,
bro, it was supposed to be 5 or 6.
It was supposed to be 6.
Yeah, at least 5 or 6.
Bro, out of all the days we decided to take a train, that's the one day they decided to do maintenance. So you can't switch lanes when you take a train. So
right,
yeah, but it was worth it. Woo! You know it was 10 years ago. Time.
Everybody looks so old compared to now. I'm like, nope, I refuse. My goal is to look the same way I did 10 years ago.
You think a lot of people look old?
Nah, I look exactly the same.
Yeah, y'all
I don't think they look like age-wise, but it's like life-wise. You know what I mean?
I feel
it's like
you.
You used to see everybody in the classroom. You see people like on jobs every day. You're like, why are you taking so many professional photos? I'm like, oh shoot, I forgot. I guess we're adults now. I don't think I ever got the memo, but it is what it is.
It was fun though, I tell you.
Brother, how are you feeling today, sir?
I'm good. I'm over here munching on some grapes, so I'm good.
Cool, calm, collected, suited, and booted as usual.
Yes, sir.
Mhm.
Yes,
He got
sir.
the lights. He got the spotlight on, looking like Batista over there.
Don't
Hey,
do
let's
that.
go. Oh boy, Batista. On that note, welcome to the Wrestle Roundtable podcast, where we take a deeper dive into the world of professional wrestling. Now you can watch our flagship show, Wrestle Realm, and other shows anytime on youtube.com/Wrestle with myself, the brother Dwayne Allen, Bryan Waters, brother Hugh, and brother Brandon, the guy. Explore many topics and try to educate and give fans a different perspective on the different things and of the world of professional wrestling. When now? I'm your host, the realness himself, the real Dwayne Allen. He's your host, brother. Hugh has a third H to the A to the S, T to the H to the E, 3 to the R to the D. He is your host, the one and the only, yours truly himself, Brian H. Waters, the Jack Daddy himself. Follow us on all social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at WrestleRealm, 2 Ws. Like, subscribe, and engage in the conversation with us. You can also stream and download all of our audio content on Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, Pocket Cast, Overcast, Pandora, and Google Podcasts. You can watch and subscribe to our Twitch channel at The Wrestling Realm. See, I got tongue tied because I know we added all these. I added that to the rundown to make sure people knew like where they can follow all these social media accounts. So
Mhm. I appreciate that.
no, I had to. If you want to support the Wrestling Realm and what we do, you can shop everything Wrestling Realm at WrestleRealm.com. Brian H. worked really hard to make sure that we got this back up and running. Shout out to Brian H. Waters. Hold on. Usually we show graphics, but check this out. Brian H. Waters. Go solo real quick. Pull the solo spot up. Let the ladies and gentlemen, Brian H. is wearing one of our new shirts patterned after one of the original Monday Night Raw logos. The Wrestling Realm. You can get that t-shirt and more, including our famous Proud Wrestling Fan t-shirt at WrestlingRealm.com. Mugs, t-shirts, hoodies, crew necks, all there. We have a whole new collection, including, look at this. Brian H. Waters and his fitness journey has been inspiration to so many people. And you can celebrate that journey by purchasing one of his new famous t-shirts, the Jack Daddy himself. Hold on, Brian H. is posing. So he's a square. The Jack Daddy himself. Look at this, guys. Brian H. Waters. Look at that. That's Hogan inspired, born, bred, and raised. Look at that.
Born, bred, and raised is right.
You can find the Jack Daddy Brian H. Waters t-shirts at restaurant.com. Anything else? Mugs, hats, all that good stuff. Head over to restaurant.com. If you want to shop everything Wrestling, support us, to rock the brand, to be a proud wrestling fan, all the above. All that stuff can be found at wrestlingrealm.com. Also, you should subscribe to our Patreon channel. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We have exclusive content on patreon.com/wrestling_realm, where you can catch much exclusive content. We are focusing heavy on Patreon. You can subscribe for just as low as $1, but for all exclusive shows and bonus material, please wrestling_realm, patreon.com/wrestling.
An announcement.
Big announcement. Go ahead, Brian H.
If you're a current subscriber, you should have got the email noting that everybody now gets a free shipping code. So if you're a Patreon subscriber, never pay for shipping from WrestlingRealm.com. The code is in there. So, that's to save you some money right there. You want to support us, you get free shipping.
Shout out to all our patrons, all the Patreon, all those who have subscribed to our Patreon channel. Trust me, there's so much more to come. We are adding content left and right. We are writing again. Brian H's thoughts can be found there. Realness Reacts coming soon, as well as a lot of. We have to find a name for like story time with Brian H for this WrestleMania story. There's an infamous WrestleMania story that will be told by Brother Hugh and Brian H. At your first WrestleMania, right?
Right. Yep. The first WrestleMania, WrestleMania 28 in Miami, Florida.
That and more. Please come soon. Please subscribe. Patreon.com/wrestling_realm.
Stop moving.
What you talking about? I didn't even move, bruh.
I hear the mic.
Is he scooted the mic again?
Yeah.
Bruh, I didn't even move. What are you talking about? Son, I literally standing here looking at you. Sitting here looking at you. What are you talking about?
Oh man, this is great. This is the perfect way to start the show. Speaking of moving, if you're looking to purchase tickets for sports, concerts, and more, use promo code Wrestling Realm on SeatGeek. You get $20 off your purchase of $50 or more. So
that includes WrestleMania.
To try to purchase those WrestleMania tickets, head over to SeatGeek and you can get $20 off of those $10,000 tickets. It's probably going to be available.
All right,
SeatGeek.
Dave Meltzer.
How much are WrestleMania tickets going for these days?
I don't want to say my answer
Okay, listen.
Sound arrogant.
Based off Bradley's response, head over to SeatGeek right now. Use promo code Wrestling to at least get $20 off those $1,000 WrestleMania tickets.
Plus, there's a MSG show this week that's WWE has been gearing towards. I think that's the whoever won the Intercontinental Championship, like gauntlet or whatever, they're gonna get the chance at Gunther at the MSG show this Sunday.
Well, there you go. So if you want to head to Madison Square Garden this Sunday, as of this recording, head over to SeatGeek right now and use promo code Wrestling Realm. $20 off your purchase, $50 or more. That's right, promo code Wrestling Realm. Don't forget it's 2 W's. Don't be confused by the way we spell Realm. It's spelled with a W on purpose. Once again, that's promo code Wrestling Realm. SeatGeek.com. $20 off your purchase, $50 or more. By George, I think we've got it. Brian H. Solo Dolo. I think that's it, everybody else. I think that's all the logistics.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute, let me put all the ads and stuff back there.
Yeah, okay, you put it there.
I think we did it.
You know what it's time for now.
Ring the bell. What did you watch? Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't understand what that sound was, every week we like to discuss what we watched this week. What do we do to prepare our minds and our hearts to engage in this professional wrestling conversation that we have each and every week? We try to fill our minds with so much outside the weekly content. But this time, we take this moment to discuss what exactly do we get into. So, Brian, since you hit the bell first, what did you watch this week, sir?
So, if you've been paying attention to the Wrestling Realm's social media, you know that I've came up with some graphics. I've been sharing, a light bulb went in my head. I said, it's WrestleMania season. We need WrestleMania content. I'm always going to find a way to share something WrestleMania wise. So I did my top 10 WrestleManias based on the decade, right? The first 10, and then you got 11 through 20, 21 through 30 will drop tomorrow. So upon doing that, I got a lot of flack for WrestleMania 8 being number 2 on my list in the first 10 WrestleManias. So I rewatched that again. And I have to say, a classic. Now, this WrestleMania is special because this is the first one I can remember vividly borrowing the tape from my uncle, where I remember watching WrestleMania 6 and 7 in my grandparents' house. But WrestleMania 8 was the first one that I watched in my house on VHS. As far as memories. So the match that I was really into as I was watching while working, and shout out to Stack Guy Greg. We was talking about this match. Bret Hart versus Roddy Piper. Just that whole story going into it. I mean, you're looking at, this kind of, I don't want to call him the original Canadian legend because that would be disrespectful, like Pat Patterson, but one of the older Canadian legends. And then you got the next up Canadian legend, and they're going at it for the Intercontinental Championship. So one of my favorites, shouts out to Wrestlemania. He always talks about he was there. I listened to his podcast years ago when he talked about his experience there. So when I put out the graphic, he was extremely happy to see that WrestleMania 8 was high on the list.
Now, if people know you, Brian, they know you're a sentimental wrestling fan. You know what I mean? So we all have our reasons why we like certain things. But I know you're one of the guys that kind of always held true to you have your reasons. It's never just this match is better than that. There's always specific reasons, man. So I think it's good that people kind of get to learn that about you, and get a better idea of why you kind of go for certain events. You'll never get a pass at WrestleMania 9. You're not getting that.
The heat I got for that this week.
I could only imagine because we give you the blue. So I'm like, man, I know this is the week you start making your rounds from WrestleMania. So
shout out to Big Bro Carlos because he said he don't understand why it gets a lot of flap either. I'm like, my God.
There y'all go. Y'all showing your age.
Look, man, 93 was different. You had you it's one of those things had to be there. I tried to look at it from different lens. I can't. You got to understand something. When your two favorite wrestlers are in the prime position and one loses, then the other one comes and saves the day. What is there not to like about that?
Because he didn't save the day, he stole the spotlight. But we're not going to get into that. This is not a debate show.
As a child, that means he saved the day, and I went to school happy the next day.
That's fair. I will be remiss if I just took that whole thing out of context. As much as I want to, I'm not going to. I'm gonna be a professional. I know it makes sense. I'm not gonna fake like it doesn't make sense. But
Real quick, I've
Mhm.
got WrestleMania 21 on. How do
Okay.
y'all feel about these? The whole movies things that they've been doing this year.
Mhm.
Like, I really love how they modernized. Like back then they did it, but like, how do y'all feel about the new ones, like the Bianca and Montez on the Titanic, Seth Rollins as Joker, and all this other stuff?
I think it's great. I'm having a good time watching them. It's almost like movies aren't as big of a deal as they were at WrestleMania 21.
Mm-hmm.
We had less mediums, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
There was no social, like movies were a big deal. TV and movies were, they kind of held their ground versus it's different now. But they're fun. I think they got a cast of characters that kind of stay locked in to the point where they can pull off some of these roles. So it's been fun. I appreciate it. Like I'm having a good time watching it. What about you, brother? You enjoying these new updated movie vignettes?
Yeah, man. They're pretty cool, man. It's like they give the superstars a chance to kind of be themselves, add their own twist to some classic movies, some classic clips, and yeah, like I said, I enjoy it. It also gives like these stars extra exposure into actual the acting things of the acting industry. So if somebody see him, they might scoop him up and get him for a role. I don't care how big it is.
Mm-hmm.
But I can tell you spot on, man. Seth Rollins is probably the best right now, man.
Mm.
He's spot on as far as the Joker.
Yeah.
Miz and Maurice, you already know they're gonna have fun. They're gonna do what they gotta do. Montez and Bianca,
Mm-hmm.
they're just loving it. They're just eating it up. You could tell,
Mm-hmm.
So I'm having fun with it.
I think Montez and Bianca have really really bright futures when it comes to brother guy.
Mm-hmm.
Have really bright futures when it comes to this business because of their versatility, what they can do in the ring, but also what they can do out the ring. But we'd be remiss if we didn't ask you, brother. What did you get into this weekend, sir? Like what did you watch?
I just got caught up on Legends.
Ooh, see, I purposely waited.
Yeah,
On the A&E series?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay.
Superstar Sundays, as they call them on A&E.
Right. I saw China and I was just like, let me check it out, see what they're really gonna talk about. And then I saw that Kane is next, so I just started prepping.
Boy, your guy.
Yeah, I started prepping for Kane on Sunday.
Big
so I watched what was it, Kane versus Vader? Is it No Way Out?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then I got to wondering, I was like, man, how come Vader never really got that push in WWF or the WWE? But we all know we know why. So for the most part,
I've been putting him over lately, so I'm not gonna stop. My guy.
For the most part, yeah. And it's kind of sad because Vader was the man.
Mm-hmm.
Vader got a raw deal. I don't blame Shawn Michaels. Like I do a little bit, but I also think just the era in which he was there was one of those financial transition eras. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The new generation, and then you got a guy like Vader. I think depending on who you ask, like if you ask somebody from the late 80s, early 90s, they'll tell you Vader was the biggest superstar in WCW. But he asked me my generation, I say, heck no, Vader was the biggest star, in kind of that transition, new generation era to me, because Vader was a staple. Like anytime you're on Boy Meets World as a recurring character, come on, man, you're doing your job.
Facts.
You know what I mean? Like how many wrestlers did we see on Boy Meets World? We saw Vader, we saw Mankind.
Oh yeah.
Like, come on now. Like Vader was Big Francis Takino's dad.
I love his music.
We played it last week. Like
mm-hmm. I love Vader's music. Even his WCW music, because it felt like Final Boss-esque. But that WWE music, that's what get me going.
Johnson is different.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I mean, undefeated.
Yeah.
Can he get in the Hall of Fame?
I don't see why he shouldn't be, to be honest with you, because he gave us classic hits that we still play to this day.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he could still go. I mean, I feel like just because he always like evolved. So I feel like, now it's been such a gap. So, but just from a musician standpoint, the thing is, you got to evolve, right?
I
When
like
you,
I like the CFOs. Do you remember the CFOs?
oh yeah, yeah.
I like the CFO stuff. It was a shame when I heard about what happened to them as far as what they were able to do.
Mhm.
As far as what happened with them, they got they pretty much signed like production deals with somebody, and
Yeah.
then whoever that production deal was with got jammed as far as the label was concerned. They weren't getting paid, and then when they tried to like leave the label and work for WWE directly, they couldn't legally do it.
Mhm.
A lot of people's music got to change, but yeah, I mean CFOs, but Jim Johnson is different.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know me, I got into my normal WrestleMania swinging thing. So you know what? Let's see if you brothers know me well enough. What's the first WrestleMania I watched?
The first one you watched live?
Like this week, like
Oh.
during this time of year, I have like a WrestleMania kick, right? And I start watching my WrestleManias. It's always like to get me started. There's always one WrestleMania I always go to. It's my go-to WrestleMania.
I want to say 14.
There you go. See, that's how I do it. Good brothers know me. Because
Because I remember you talked about how special that is to you. So I've gone back and watched our WrestleMania specials, which if you go in our YouTube channel, you can see the WrestleMania playlist. So I've gone back and watched when we talked about like our favorites. But I also know 23 was like the first one, like you went to like a party and watched it
my
with a
college
group of
buddies.
friends.
Yeah.
So I wasn't sure but I figured 14 would be the one to get you started.
Nah, 14 definitely was it. That's the first one I always jumped to. That's like my go-to mania for everything. Because for me, it was the last one. Shawn Michaels wasn't involved. Like I just missed it. Like literally, like probably like a month or some change after that, I started watching wrestling again, like everywhere. You know what I mean? And granted, it was WCW-ish, but I was still tapping into DX. Like I think the first time I saw DX, like as a group, I knew them. It was when they peed on LOD's bikes. Like it was back. That was like early LOD. Like they were.
But 14 was a good WrestleMania. Low key, like I feel like it gets pushed back, like as more WrestleManias occur. But it's obviously important because it's the infamous line from Jim Ross. The Austin era has begun, which it was cool to hear him say, like he knew he was going to say that line. Like, he doesn't always know which lines, but he knew like, okay, this is one I have set,
WrestleMania 14, that main event is always so conflicting for me, right? It's because I saw that after the fact, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, man,
same.
Like, it's like this was the last hurrah for my favorite wrestler at the time because Bret Hart was WCW bound. He wasn't doing anything. He was weaseled out. And then, but like literally that Monday, I remember him coming out. The crazy part is I swear I think I started watching wrestling that Monday after WrestleMania.
Okay, that makes sense.
I remember Austin coming out with that with the winged eagle,
the blue eagle,
and he threw it at McMahon's feet, and Vince gave him the blue one.
Oh
and
yeah.
Like I don't know why I remember that so vividly.
Let me ask you this. Let's mind playing a little fantasy booking.
Yeah, why not? Let's do it.
Bret Hart don't leave. What's WrestleMania 14's main event? Is it Bret Austin or I've heard like Corey? I've heard him, Glenn, and Keith talk about they feel Corey says a triple threat, and it does the ultimate favor for Austin. Austin gets to beat both guys, but I'm like, I could see that, but then I could also just easily see Bret and Stone Cold running it back.
You'd probably get Bret Stone Cold again. Like I don't know what shape Shawn Michaels will be in at this time, based off that. So it's tough to say.
But you know what though? To me, the whole show looks different. Like the red,
it's really different.
It's to me, it's just classic WrestleMania. Like that had like even though it's like a color scheme we're essentially talking about, but the fact that it's WrestleMania 14 X-rated, I don't get those vibes if it's Bret Hart in the main event.
Well, see, that's the thing, because like it's difficult because like you got to think about everything that led up to WrestleMania, right? So you talk about like DX was running everything. Like once Bret was gone, like everything started. That's why it was considered X-rated. You know what I mean? Because it was like the focus was on Tyson, Triple H, China, HBK, and Austin's battle against the up and coming rebellious group that's causing issues around here, right? So just that whole run, it's like, well, where the heck does Bret Hart fit into? You know what I mean? Like, are you still doing the Heart Foundation stuff? I just think the landscape of the whole thing would just be completely different. I don't think Brett was agreeing with just the direction that the overall product was going in.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, man, who knows what he had made it to WrestleMania? Now, he's a businessman, so I'm sure he wanted that Mania paycheck. But
Yeah,
I don't know, man. It's tough. That's difficult because it's like you look at Brett, he don't fit into the attitude outside of the Heart Foundation. That heel run or that run. I look at your sister. That run.
hey, shout out to her. She just hit 100 subscribers on her YouTube channel.
Congratulations. Like, you think about that run.
She know what it is.
That he kind of had, you know, where it's like you're a heel in the States, but you're a hero like overseas, anywhere in Europe, Germany, anywhere, of course, Canada, anything. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it's like, to me, that's attitude era Brett. But like I said, they were starting to go there. And I don't know if Brett really fit into that whole mix. So it's like, don't get me wrong, I would love to see him for Triple H, for Stone Cold and Bret Hart to run it back at WrestleMania. Like, not really sure where Shawn Michaels fits into. But the crazy part is I didn't realize how bad that match was, because I'm like, bro, I don't see it that way, because Triple H, Shawn Michaels, oh yeah, the match was as good as I'm like, man, I loved it. Like, but you watch stuff through the eyes as a kid. And in my mind, especially during that time, Shawn Michaels does no wrong. So,
Really?
So
now you see my WrestleMania 9.
I get it. I just don't like it. Like, it's just bad. Like, it's one of my worst. Like, it was so like when I first saw the Best of WrestleMania DVD, I was like, bro, this is weak. And like, of course, they highlighted a few matches. They highlighted, of course, they highlighted Undertaker and Giant Gonzalez. They highlighted, of course, Yokozuna and Bret Hart. And Hogan decides he wants to come in. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm extremely biased, because when I found out the story behind that whole situation, I'm always Team Bret. I was like, oh yeah, I really don't like that show now. But I didn't like WrestleMania outside in the parking lot. I didn't like that Caesar's Palace themed anything. I don't care where you were in Vegas, whatever the heck it was. Like, I'm like, I just wasn't feeling it at all. It didn't seem like a WrestleMania to me. And I'm telling you, that was one of the most like exposed WrestleManias that I had as a kid. Like that one and WrestleMania 8 was like, because I had grew up with WWF magazines, and those were two WrestleManias that I was always seeing stuff from. So, but I never liked outside of wrestling events for some reason, and that just, I don't know. Even as a kid, I didn't like it. So
wait, you haven't been to a stadium show yet?
No, I've not been to a stadium show.
Okay, it's gonna change soon.
I know one thing: it's not gonna be in the parking lot at Caesar's Palace. Right here.
You just had to. Hey, look, when I first went to Vegas, that was the first thing I thought. I was like, this is the home of one of my favorite WrestleManias.
It's not gonna be outside the parking lot with elephants like your Ringling Brothers bought them in Vegas.
What's good, casual wrestler?
Was cracking. Welcome to the conversation. We're just getting started, but you're getting to all our WrestleMania banter because it's WrestleMania season.
Yeah, man. I like, but you know what though? I'm with you as far as like, I watch Austin and Sean's match over and over again. And I guess because like I never looked for a 5-star match from Stone Cold Steve Austin anyway. So I enjoy it. See, Megan get it. She said it. You hating. Like, that was the WrestleMania like we both watched over and over again growing up, like just going back and watching it, VHS after school. Like, she probably know the broadcast just as much as I do.
That's sad.
I get that though. That happens. Like, it's
an illusion.
You're gonna have your, your kind of your sentimental wrestling. It's funny because like there's certain things I can watch now. And I can say, okay, the whole show wasn't that great, but parts of it was. So, like, for instance, WrestleMania 10. I don't watch the whole show isn't like a barn burner for me, right? But there's highlights to it. Bret Owen, you know what I mean, and of course, Sean Razor. Everything else is like, it's not forgotten, but it's just like, oh, okay, cool.
So let me ask, do you watch those WrestleMania like those WrestleMania series they have on Peacock? I know you don't get down with Peacock too much, but those are fun to watch, especially when they break down certain matches, like the whole stories going into it, and then break down the matches, and then you get the match. But like I really enjoy those.
No, because those are fun because they kind of break, like, it's like you get to relive your childhood with new information. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what always makes it fun. Like I said, I can watch those all day. Like I can consume that. I can consume that rather than going back and watching the shows sometimes. You know what I mean? Because I feel like I can watch, thanks to the network, stupid Peacock, I can watch the show anytime I want to. But it's like, it's fun watching those specials where they give you inside information, things you didn't know before. And it's like, it's almost like an adult way to consume my childhood. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know, but that's just me. That's the fun part about being a wrestling fan. There's always, it's like you can keep it appropriate no matter where you are, you know, as far as, you know, where you are as far as you being a wrestling fan. Like, what part of your life are you in? You know what I mean? So you got kids that like it just because it's cool. It's, you know, everybody's into it. The kids in the classroom, the toys, whatever. And then you have the group that sticks around after their childhood and realizes that, okay, this is one of the greatest shows. And I mean, you know, emphasis on shows. And then you have us that's like, well, look, man, we're going to love whatever's put out there because we've been watching it forever. So between the stuff we enjoy and the memories that it's given us, we're just kind of, you know, lifer. So those type of shows kind of bring me back to that space. Look, brother, he's not saying that word. Look at him. He's just,
Hey, bro, I'm just listening, man. I'm enjoying.
Right
That's
now.
when he become a fan.
I'm enjoying. I'm enjoying.
But you
the
gotta be a
conversation.
fan of your friends. That's the way I see it.
I mean, heck, because shoot, if we're not a fan of each other, who the heck? You never know people out here these days.
Right, right.
I am not hated. Megan said I'm hating. That's why I said I'm not going to touch nobody's. I'm not going to touch anybody's settlement because I have my own. I'm guilty of it too. But God dang it, WrestleMania 9 is terrible.
It's not.
The crazy part is, like, Brett is my. I think I'm more upset about that more than anything. We're not supposed. This is how you know it's WrestleMania. We're not supposed to keep talking about it. We're supposed to be on the show. We still hung up because it's like I can never not stress this enough. I'm gonna go back and I'm watch some of those old WrestleMania shows to see what I had to say about it then. Like 10, 12 years have passed. Let's see what I'm thinking about, you know, these WrestleMania nights. But
that's what's like when people get mad that I put 17 in the second 10, that I put 17 as like number 4 because
I felt
15
like
is
that on purpose, to be honest with you.
I honestly didn't. Like 17 is still like, all right, 17 has a sentimental value for me because the last one I watched with my grandmother, right? Even though mad at the stupid cable company, shout out to brother Brandon for bringing in the tape the next day. But I like 18 was like, you know, my two guys, which should have been the main event. You know what I mean? And then just sitting there, I remember vividly watching them with my mother, and it was the first and only time she's ever rooted against Hogan. So then, like 15 is like my first WrestleMania back, and I remember that build up. It seemed forever. Me and brother Hugh going to school every single day, just talking about it, right? And then 19, I always felt like they had 5 main event matches. Like any of those matches could, well, 4 of them could have closed the show. Shawn and Jericho wasn't, but that was a main event match because it was the match of the night, you know. So 19 was like one of my sleepers.
And that was, you know, Shawn Michaels' return WrestleMania, wasn't it? Like, you mean, obviously.
Look at this. See, this is what I'm talking about.
I can't believe it. We actually got a third person that actually WrestleMania 9. This is truly WrestleMania season. Miracles happen all the time.
You know what? And 11 has a, like 11 was a part of the famous tapes, but I know that was bad.
That's how bad it was. Like 11 was bad.
Like I've watched it a gazillion times because that was like one of the only tapes I had, and it's still like, yeah.
Is 11 the worst WrestleMania of all time?
But most people will vote that it's between 9 and 11 where people will say what's the worst. I've seen 11 take the edge though. I mean, and just like not even just the card, but the technical difficulties that night and everything.
I don't think I even watched that fully in a long time. Like I don't think I barely watched. I watched it.
I know the commentary by heart too for that one because like that's all I had for a while was those tapes. I rotated.
For all you young bucks out there, and I'm not talking about Nick and Matt Jackson. Back in the day when we had VHS tapes, when you wanted to consume wrestling and it wasn't on TV at the time, you watched whatever was on that shelf. It didn't matter how many times you watched it. You watched that tape until the tape couldn't tape anymore. Like I said, that was why I chose. Like I said, my first tape. I swear, I think my dad got it for my birthday. We were just out, and he was just like, "You want to grab something from Suncoast?" I'm like, "Shoot." He already took me out to the mall. Like we was eating it. I think we was in the movies or whatever, and he was, you know, all right, like, go get I don't know how much it costs. I don't know how much tapes it could cost back then, but I remember I got that like those best of things. It gave me a little bit of everything. You know what I mean? And I remember I rented the best of Wrestlemania at Hollywood Video over there, Emerson Village. Emerson Village was a sleeper for wrestling tapes.
Hey, wow, that's
And that's like, and I would literally like, I would take my $5-6 whatever, like because I got an allowance from my grandmother. She would give us allowance every month, and he had a Hollywood Video card sitting. He had like this like this glass bowl that would sit on the dining room table with all his random stuff in it, cards and business cards and old wireless rubber bands. I don't know why my pop had a bunch of rubber bands, but he just did. I seen that Hollywood Video card. I was like, well, shoot. Can I? And it was right around the corner. Like we live right behind Emerson Village. Like, so I was like, I go over there, and that's what I watched WrestleMania. No, I watched Royal Rumble '98.
Okay.
The best of WrestleMania for the first time I saw that, like out there. And then he had he had like Sable's DVD, when they do the Superstar Spotlights.
Yeah.
And I was like,
it was Stone Cold.
Yeah, one of those Stone Cold. I couldn't. And then the rest was like UFC tapes. I used to hate that. Like, bro, this is like, stop putting the UFC tapes in the wrestling section. This is you taking up real estate.
Yo, that's funny because it was funny. Full disclaimer, we didn't even know each other at the time, but I used to feel the same exact way, bro.
I used to be pissed. You know how pissed I was? I don't know if I told the story, and I don't know if people that don't have not on this show have heard this story. You know how pissed I was one time? I go to my cousin's house, and he had if you look on the realDwayneAllen.com, or if you look at the Patreon story about my action figure history, and I talk about going to my cousin's sleepover and that tape that we watched, and I found that tape. It's like Slam or something like that. I literally found the tape. I'm like, dude, that's the tape that he got for his birthday that we watched. One of those Coliseum video, combination tapes with just random matches on there, whatever the case may be. I went over there like during my wrestling phase, and we talking like late 97, 98. Like I'm on fire. I'm consuming every wrestling I can get. I'm talking about getting up on Saturday mornings, watching the Golden Age of Wrestling on ESPN Classic. Watching Pressure. When this was a finisher. He hit I don't know who I watched, but somebody hit somebody with that, and everybody went nuts. Like the arena flipped out. Like he looked around and he had him, and he hit him with one of these, and he like back of his head, and he bounced up in there, and like they had to call the match. That's how rowdy it got off that one move. And like the guy outside trying to get back in the ring, security like, there's no way in the world. Like that's how much I was consuming wrestling. So I go to his house on the weekend, like, yo, you still got the wrestling tape, right? Like I don't care. Like he's like, yeah, it's not. So I said, yo, you got the tape? Like he said, yeah, no, but listen, I got something else though. It's better. It's like wrestling, but it's not. But trust me, it's way better. I'm like, I just want to watch the tape, bro. Like, come on, man, don't sell me or nothing else. Like, no. Then he tells me, oh well, it got stuck in VCR and I broke it, but it's okay though. I got something even better. I'm like, well, what are you talking about? Mind you, I'm thinking maybe he got another wrestling tape. He's like, nah, it's like wrestling, but it's not like wrestling, bro. He cuts it on. It's freaking UFC, yo. Like I'm talking like gray, blue. The guy holding the globe on his head, logo. Like no rules. Hoist Gracie and Dan Severn Ray square off in the octagon with Big John refereeing. I say, yo, you got to be kidding me, bro. Anyway, I was pissed about that, but that's I say all that to say that I am fully aware of what it means to be sentimental about certain wrestling. But that's the only. As nowadays we call it content, but that's bro. That was the only tape you had.
So, and you watched them over and over again. Like,
I'm guilty of it.
Right. It don't matter. It still sucks. So let's move on.
There it is. That's brother Heath's final word. He sat there and watched this whole conversation, and he picked the spot.
But methodical, like MJF, just picking his spot.
Well, speaking of MJF, we'll get to that in a second. It's Women's History Month. So we want to say a special shout out to all the women out here who are making history in the ring, outside of the ring, in media, outside of media. We salute you all. Now, that leads us to the first part of the conversation, Brian Nash. This is that time where you start to ring the bell. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been talking for 40 minutes. There we go. There's the bell. Women's History Month. Damage CTRL versus Trish Stratus, Lita, and Becky Lynch at WrestleMania. See, I just jumped right into it. We're not wasting not playing any games.
I saw that.
Man, you talking about a dream matchup. How did you guys feel? Especially you, Brian. I'm asking you, Brian. I'm not foxing you out, brother. I'm really not. But he was in love with
That's cool.
Trish. He still might be.
Look,
She looks amazing, by the way. Goodness gracious.
do.
She doesn't like what she's got.
I talked to her on Instagram one time.
You still saying that? Like that's like me saying I waited for Janet Jackson one time when she was driving past. Like,
I can show you proof.
you saved it.
No,
You keep saying you're gonna show proof. Like, what are you saying? Like, what do you? Anyway, cool. You find that, and I'll keep talking. Personally, I'm excited because I had no idea that Lita and Trish were still interested in still wrestling. I knew they were making appearances.
Mhm.
I didn't think they were still interested in really wrestling, but they like this is first of all, Bailey and Becky Lynch have to probably pinch themselves. It's because they get to be in a ring with two legends. Let alone Dakota Kai and Io Sky. The opportunity that they all had to be in a ring with Trish and Lita. After Lita, historically had an opportunity to win tag team championships with Becky Lynch, especially going into WrestleMania. I think it's no better time, especially going into, like I said, we're in Women's History Month. I believe today was International Women's Day. He really showed he really sent this. People that are watching, Brian H. Waters literally sent the screen, like he screenshotted this. She was going back to one of his DMs. Like, wow. Okay, listen, at least you gave it a proof, brother. You a man of your word. I'll take that.
I mentioned, and there was actually she mentioned first when we mentioned her on Mac Mania. She tagged me.
How did that make you feel?
Great.
Okay. All right. Next.
Anyway. How do you feel about this match? Go ahead.
Man, I don't trust Trish Stratus. I don't trust Trish Stratus.
Why don't you trust her?
Bro, remember WrestleMania double turns, right? So
no, she's too old to be doing double turns. And I don't mean her age. I mean, like, come on now. Like, really? A whole program? You double turn, you got to do a program. That means you
got to do a program.
Yeah, she ain't got time for that. She part time. She part time.
She's making too much money, man. Doing other things. She's got yoga. She's got all kind of stuff.
Look, Bailey's smart. I said this yesterday. I wouldn't be surprised if Trish, aligned herself up with the Damage CTRL. But because look, all right. Look at the aesthetics, right? Why is Trish always in the center of the photos? They just won the tag team titles. She's not supposed to be in the middle. Technically, Becky should be in the middle. She's all in the middle. She's all in the, everywhere, all in the videos, dancing.
You sound like a conspiracy theorist, bro. This is not like you.
First of all, she
wanted that tag title.
She's in the middle because you see the way she looked, and second of all, nobody cares about the tag titles. No disrespect.
But it's Lita's a legend.
Okay.
Becky's a top woman. Now we know Trish Stratus is the greatest.
I mean,
women's wrestler.
Obviously they still don't care about the tag titles because they're not being.
No,
they don't present at WrestleMania.
They do care.
Brother, go ahead. I want to hear this. Go ahead and make your case, brother. Don't go ahead. Go ahead, Brian.
I was gonna say Becky was just at one of the events with the red carpet with the belts. That's the whole purpose of putting them on visibility.
That's nice. So, belt. You carry it around. That's nice.
What makes you think they don't care about the belts, brother Hugh?
Bro, they need they need them to be in action. They need them to be on the line. You want to gain more exposure. You want to gain that prestige. All right, you got two people, one legend and one soon to be legend with the titles. Like, make something happen. Find some type of formidable opponent. You still have time. You got 4 weeks. And make something happen.
Let me ask you this, brother Hugh.
I just felt like it was all thrown together. Like, all right, cool, I get it.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I actually prefer it this way because I don't think I could stomach another tag team title match because it's like It's no disrespect to the women's tag titles, but I look at it this way. This is just me. It's a brand new title. You know what I mean? And it's like majority of the women that are like in the business right now are all fresh faces. It's tough to make titles important with fresh faces. You know what I mean? Like new people. Like for instance, freaking AEW put the title on Chris Jericho. Like if they would have started out on somebody, one of their guys, it probably wouldn't have meant as much.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I think it's something about the important people holding the title rather than defending it. You know, which makes it a big deal. Like I'll give you an example. Roman. How many title defenses has Roman had in 780 days? In 912,000 days? Like it's not that
13.
many. But him holding it, he made the Universal Championship like the #1 championship, which wasn't an easy thing to do because it was considered the second world title. You know what I mean? But he had a stretch, arguably, where he made that title important. So I say that to say, I think because the women's tag titles are so new, it's only so much you can do to make them like them defending it 1,000 times. It's like, well, you're not really going to care about who else they defended it against because it's like
1,000 times. They barely defended the Bad Boys once.
I mean, but that's what I'm saying. But like, if you overexpose a new title, and no offense, you have all fresh faces, they really can't carry those weights. Like, if you look at the era of the first, do you remember the first Women's Royal Rumble?
Yeah.
When they brought back all the ladies back for that, I get now in their era, like right now, okay, that makes sense to me more because they were all established brands. You know what I mean? Like, they wouldn't have been that first Women's Royal Rumble if all those girls didn't come back. Like, that's what made it special. That's just me. I don't want to see them defending that just for the sake of defending them. Because I'm like, well, like, make it important. I like the fact that the ones who are holding it make it that much more important at the WrestleMania instead of kind of hot shot booking. All that stuff. That's because I'm be honest with you. Like, I don't want to see Dakota Kai defend those titles again against that because how do they win? How do they lose and still come out on top? Because that's the goal, right? You're building new talent and young stars. They're going to lose, but their job is to make themselves look good in losing. You know what I mean? So
they're just gonna hold them just like Sasha and Naomi did, and build a prestige that way.
Do they have much of a choice, Brother Hugh? I'm asking you.
You just gonna hold them.
Do they have
just like they do? And you like, you know what I'm saying? And you saw what happened with that.
Who's the best person to go against Damage CTRL, to go against Lita and Trish Stratus right now? That people gonna care about us and not go to the bathroom and go get popcorn and stuff.
I'm gonna be honest with you. The best thing right now would be Ronda and Baszler. They're hot. They've been built up to be the hot tag team.
I thought
somehow, some way, you can get them into some sort of feud.
I thought that was the direction we was gonna go in, but I heard Ronda Rousey got hurt. I don't know if that had anything to do with it or not, but
that's what I was about to say too.
Right, but I don't think
I thought they was up next. I'm with you on that one.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think that injury is going to keep her out, though. You see what I'm saying?
Okay, sure.
For WrestleMania. But that will be my only formidable opponent right now, because no, I'm not going to put it back on EO or whatever or whatnot. I'm not going to do that.
Fresh faces.
Like Dakota always look lost. EO is that girl, but she need a mouthpiece.
Yeah.
You know, and she just needs to be with somebody else. Dakota by far is the weakest link, and the whole Damage CTRL thing is not working for me. Like, I get the whole role model gimmick from Bayley and whatnot, and I'm not blaming Bayley or whoever, but that whole thing is just not working.
Right.
You know,
sorry, Trish gonna join. She's gonna be the Ric Flair.
That's fine then.
Listen, man. Well, listen, that's a great way to start Women's History Month. Was the spiel on the lack of importance of the World Tag Team titles for the women. But that was good. I like to hear that. But are you at least looking forward to the match, Brother Hugh? Like, this is the dream come true. Like, come on now. We got Trish, Lita, Becky Lynch versus Bayley and two young girls at WrestleMania. I think it does more for them in this match alone rather than the tag titles even being involved. I think this is going to be like a match for the ages. What do you think? Do you think it's still not going to fly because you feel like the title should be the focus of the match, or in this situation, it's obvious they're going with, let's not focus on the titles, let the women who hold the titles be important, but let's focus on it's more of a dream match. Like
That's
all these women get a chance to work
that's
with two
that,
legends.
that's what it is at the end of the day. I mean, it is WrestleMania, and I always say WrestleMania is about the moments.
Sure.
So, I mean, I'm cool with the match. I get it. It's just like, I guess at this point, I'm just kind of fed up with the women's titles. Because number
Okay.
one, they're beautiful titles and they're not being presented the right way. And
I get
like,
what you're saying.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to sound bitter, but it's like, come on, man.
I mean, but
Um,
again, this is just a good opportunity to like to have this dream match and to
that's
really
that's fine.
and Dakota Kai and Io Sky deserve, in my opinion, they deserve a spot at WrestleMania. You know, they
Okay.
came back and they've been doing their thing. They've been on TV every week, and this is
Oh,
the
that's
perfect spot for them. And this is a perfect feud for them. This is an opportunity to grow, and Bailey gets to get her dream match with her girls. You know, so and you know she did talk about expansion. So I'm interested to see what happens. You know, she said she didn't want to reveal who because it could still happen. So
I mean, that's nice for Dakota and them. You make them feel good, feel
Brother,
better.
he's not feeling it, bro.
But
I can tell. I can tell. I can
I
tell.
mean, is the thing I'm most excited about is just seeing two legends come back and be able to partake in women's wrestling at this point in time. Something that they helped build.
And
So,
I,
and, you know, I don't care if it's part time status or whatnot, but
mhm.
that's what I'm happy to see. That's cool. That's cool. It's just I think they could have did better as far as like getting those two matches.
I was shocked. Don't get me wrong. I was definitely shocked. I definitely thought that it was going to be Ronda and Shayna Baszler somehow getting involved in that tag title picture for the women as they continue to try to establish continue to try to establish those titles as as they're new. I keep reiterating that,
Hmm.
but you know
I get it. I get it.
you know
You can't start over. You know what I'm saying?
it's an easy sell. Like people say, "Oh, I remember Trish. I remember Lita." You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So I don't know, man. It's crazy.
it's just a little
But
frustrating.
you see what brother with this freaking this dude Roger put in there.
Nah, what he said.
He talking about did y'all know that Juice Robinson is rock hard, as in rock hard Juice Robinson?
Okay.
Like
I
he
don't
just
know
went
what to
all
say
the way
about
to
that.
he went all the way to New Japan. We talking about women right now. This is Women's History Month.
Right.
He went all the way to New Japan. But like I said, looking forward to this matchup. I thought this was a perfect opportunity to kind of highlight the ladies and what they're doing. I was shocked. Like I said, I was shocked by it, but I'm happy that it's in the mix. But like I said, as we kind of move on and push the show on, because we still got to get to the main event of the show.
Hmm.
We talked about before the show started, man. There's a little bit of drama going on in the wrestling community, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people are taking sides. A lot of people are kind of drawing their line in the sands, so to speak, in regards to a certain professional wrestling superstar that is known for picking fights in the wrong places. Now, before we dive into that, and don't worry, we're not going to prolong it. We're going to jump right into the conversation. Did you guys enjoy AEW Revolution?
it was a good show.
First of all, did you enjoy the show? Brian, you said it was a good show. Brother Hugh, did you see the show?
No, I saw the highlights.
Okay, so you saw the highlights. Okay, so go ahead, Brian. You saw the show.
Yeah, it was a good show. I thought that one, it wasn't so many matches, so it wasn't like a lot to try to digest.
Sure.
Unfortunately, you know what? I'll get into that later. But
Because it's coming. Like that's
Mhm.
that's the wind up. Like we're gonna literally tiptoe right into that space.
Yeah, but I thought, Jericho and Ricky Starks in ring. I mean, I like Ricky Starks in ring. I'm still trying to get this
I'm not buying it. I'm telling
someday.
you right now.
I know. I figured you wouldn't.
You can clip it off, all that stuff, bro. I'm not buying it. Like y'all can tell me all you want about Ricky Starks being the next this and that. I'm like, bro, I'm not seeing it.
Some days I'm like, okay, I see what could be. Then some days, but
yeah, I'm good.
You know, even Moxley and Paige, they're gonna bleed.
I don't see that, bro.
Huh?
I didn't know they was even still beefing. Like I can't keep up with stuff. It's sometimes.
Because it's just like they've been like in their own world while they've been beefing. Like you get it, and then like even when Paige like has to do his interviews with Renee, it's a weird thing. But overall, I mean, their pay-per-views deliver, no doubt about it.
Okay, well, so we so brother here, you saw the highlights. Let me ask you first because I'm telling you, once the pitch goes out, somebody's got to swing.
Yep.
What did you think of the highlights? I know you kind of caught it because if you can kind of watch AEW highlights and kind of get the gist of what's going on.
Yeah, basically. I'm gonna tell you the good part.
Rogers post.
Did you see what he said?
What about Juice? Yeah.
Bro, he went into like New Japan for wrestling. Rock Hard Juice rap. Crazy, mind you.
I thought he was in AEW.
Rock Hard, no, he's a New Japan guy. Like he's in and out, right? He's in and out.
He made an appearance, right?
But I thought he officially signed with AEW though.
Did he?
Man, you signed with AEW? You all elite?
No, because he did like a match. Like he just showed up, he did a match, and then I think like a week or two after that, they made an announcement.
Well, that's
and then we never seen him
because he's a Bullet Club guy.
Yeah,
I love the Rock Hard. Like I love this is my favorite version of him. Like if I about goddamn time be this version of you, but that's just me. But you were saying, Brother Hugh, about AEW Revolution, the highlights.
From what I hear, the matches that I was somewhat interested in, they were somewhat. It was
space as you tell the story. Like he's like
they were somewhat decent, from what I hear.
Mm-hmm.
I'll probably go back and watch them. The 60-minute, I heard that was cool. Like MJF showed out a little bit, but Bryan Danielson probably should have won that.
Bryan. I'm not calling him Bryan Danielson. I don't know him.
So you don't know him personally?
No, Daniel Bryan.
Right. Moxley and Paige, man, come on, bro. Son, would it be as exciting if they didn't bleed? Like, what if one time they go and come out? Like, seriously, if they come out one time and had one match, it can be against anybody, and they didn't bleed. Like what would everybody do? I'm surprised they still got blood in their body.
They probably got razor blades just on day. Like everybody grab a blade on the way into the ring.
Did you see the post? Somebody caught Moxley blading.
Bro, like AEW production is terrible, man. Like we always catch that stuff. But like I said,
I heard the trios was okay.
First of all, I told you anything the Young Bucks touch, they do no wrong. I don't care how bad I talk about AEW. Like nothing they do is wrong in my eyes. Like the Elite is okay with me.
Man, Malachi Black. Man, I miss him, bro. That's what WWE needed to do with him, bro. Him, you got Buddy. Like they missed out on those two. But
yeah, and like I said, they got cut for unforeseen circumstances. But like I said, I mean, we got a surprise run in on the show. Like this is one situation where anything can happen. But just in time, man, the guy has showed up. That's a steam music, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, y'all gotta play the video.
You better not play that video.
Play that video. Come on, Brian. Play the video.
What video?
Y'all talking about
the one
AEW
I sent
right
to the
now.
track.
Go back to AEW. Go back to AEW. Go back to AEW. Don't derail.
Remember the one I sent to the chat?
Stick to the script. Stick to the script.
Brother, he's being disruptive. He always tries to pop Brandon got trying to come in all professional, and brother, he's like, nope, I refuse to let you. That's not going to happen today.
Yeah, you want the country too. Yeah.
Brother Brandon, welcome, sir.
Good evening.
You gave the nod that you were free. You wanted to jump in, man. So this is by all means. You know, they told you have an open invitation. The door's always open whenever you feel free. What's on your mind, sir? AEW Revolution. Did you catch it?
Yeah, I did. I actually watched the whole pay-per-view. You should be proud of me.
Wow, you watched the whole AEW
I
pay-per-view.
watched the whole thing.
Okay.
I watched the whole.
Are you hearing this, Brian H?
I'm listening.
It's not. I don't think he's buying it. Go ahead. What you think of the show?
I'm going to have to say the pre-show match was one of my favorite things.
You just buried the show.
No. And the reason I'm saying that the pre-match was enjoyable to watch. AEW is always hands down going to give you a good wrestling match. They are. They're going to give you a good wrestling match. I think the thing that's missing is the story. But to say the least, like I wasn't invested in the Trios Championship, but I'm glad they won.
Mm-hmm.
The women's match was predictable. Who didn't see a turn happening? And now we got this Mean Girls 2.77 or whatever number we're on.
The outsiders. The freelancers.
The L's with the green L. I just can't get invested in it. The tag match. It was a tag match. I'm tired of seeing blood. I really think I'm tired. At this point now, if I see Mox wrestle, I'm just going to count down until he starts bleeding. Like
I'm going to start getting hot sauce and ketchup and just start twist like this. So if you blade, matter of fact, Moxley, I can do it too. I'm just going to let it go.
He get in the ring and then it's like, oh, here's some blood. I'm like, all right, come on. Because the crazy part is, if this would have been the first time that he bled in a while, the match called for it. And Brian, you might like me when I say this. I think the wrong man won the main event.
I'm with you.
Okay. Let's go there. Let's freaking go there. This is a perfect transition. We're not going to wait any longer. The main event, right? Daniel Bryan.
Before we say that, I will say this. I'm sorry, I will say this. The TNT title didn't need to be defended on that night. That could have been a dynamite match.
See, I'm biased. I'm a Warlord and a Samoa Joe guy, so I'm all the way biased. I'm like, anytime those guys get in the ring, I don't give a crap where they do it at. But I'm not disagreeing with you though. I'm just biased.
Yeah, so.
But
I'm with you, Brian, on this one. I think
I'm tired of seeing that matchup.
So you over? See, here's my problem with Brother Hugh. Since you said something, see, like I'm trying to be reserved, but since you guys bringing stuff up, I might as well say it. I don't like how they go weeks at a time without addressing stuff. Like when I got my action figures and I'm booking my own shows, I make sure when I grab my papers, like, yo, let me look at my script from last week. I need to address what happened last week. I can't move on. With Mick Foley and Sting when they fell off the scaffold and they both got carted off on stretchers. Next week, I got to address what happened to them. I can't go 2 more weeks and all of a sudden they just come back from the house where they beefing again. I got to make it make sense. Okay? Like, that's me. And I book my own shows for the wrestling figures. And like AEW I promise you, I didn't realize Hangman Page and freaking Moxley was still beefing. I almost didn't really remember that Wardlow and Joe was still beefing.
I mean, who remembered that Christian came back just to have this match? I was like,
bro, dang, I forgot all about that.
Younger boy still beefing. I'm like, wait, we going back to this? I thought we were done with this. Like
I thought Jericho and had moved on from each other, but they said, no, we're gonna keep wrestling. Let's have another one.
Did Fake King come back?
Who's that?
Luchasaurus.
No.
Oh no, he wasn't involved in this match.
Okay.
They're trying to get Jungle Boy Jack Perry get involved. But listen, we're not going to spend too much time on AEW. Not here to bash AEW. We like AEW, we really do. But it has its flaws. The main event. Brother, I know you heard this, but Brother Brandon came in. He said, you know what? Brian H. thinks the wrong guy won. Now, it's obvious that Maxwell J. Friedman III, he's not a third. I just like to say that.
It fits. It does.
It doesn't fit like EC3. He retained his AEW, his lovely World Championship title in 60 minutes. First and foremost, let me ask you
67 minutes.
67 minutes.
I thought it was supposed to be 60.
They went to overtime.
Yeah. It's like an old wrestling gimmick, like Roderick Strong and Jey Uso. They went 72 one time.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, and everybody was like just switching in their seats, but it was like who you pay $20 for Iron Man match. We talked about this, but but
You're right.
MJF. First of all, this is
Talk
my
about
question
it.
I posed to the brothers. And anybody jump in. Was it believable? Did it really look like that MJF could go toe to toe with Daniel Bryan for 60 minutes? That's the first question I'm asking. That's what I want to know from the brothers, first and foremost. And
Mhm.
what did they think of the match and the finish? Brian H., you've been quiet.
They took me for a ride.
Okay, do tell.
Everybody
Are we
knows.
talking like Universal Studios or are we talking like down the street to the Walmart?
Universal Studios, and I hate
Okay.
roller coasters, but they took me for a ride because I kept saying, "All right, we know who's gonna win, right?" But they had me believe my guy had a chance, and that's the thing I asked for in pro wrestling.
Yeah.
Let me suspend my disbelief. Now, mind you, I'm fresh off the China documentary, fresh out of the Twitter spaces, and I'm focused. And I'm watching this match, and I see the back and forth. MJF's greatest wrestling match he's ever had in his life. Felt
Yeah.
like he was,
I said, yeah, pretty much.
man, felt like he was holding back. Like he
Wow.
showed, like, okay. Now, granted, I mean, Brian can go out there and make me look like $1 million, but this is when MJF showed up and he showed out, and
He ain't had no choice.
Yeah,
that's true.
You done ran with the dragon, and I ain't
But at
talking
the end
about
of the day, he healed up, hit him with that the oxygen tank, and it ticked me off. It made me mad. I was like, "You gotta be kidding me!" And then to see my guy tap,
I always to lose.
exactly, to see him tap, but doing the favors. We gotta get this young kid over. So
And-
now the ball is in MJF's court. I know we're going to address the situation later in a few.
Oh, it's coming.
I'm gonna leave what I want to say and how that ties to this match. But overall, I mean, 5-star, 10-star, 1,000-star match. Dare say, greatest Iron Man match ever.
No, you went too far. See,
You crossed the line, bro.
You went too far.
It could be.
That's Iron Man match for MJF. Maybe
It could be in the conversation. I know. You don't want to let go, Brett and Sean.
I'm not. Like I said, it's not.
Man, the daggone ROH joint was better than that.
It depends.
Wow.
Wow. But it depends what you into. If you want a sudden death, or if you want to, you want to see some falls. But what I did like real quick, the psychology, that something I've always wondered why people don't do, because I would do it on a video game, is when he got that back-to-back pin.
Sure.
And I said, finally, somebody's doing that. And I had to like take myself out of it, like the next day, like after I decompressed, after I stopped being a fan and wanted to go back, put my analyst hat on. I was like, that was a freaking good match, but it did what it was supposed to do. Because guess what? When that show went off, I was pissed because my guy didn't win. That's how I'm supposed to feel.
Brother Brandon, you said you think the wrong guy won the match. Do tell.
So I'm gonna ask you this question.
There we go.
Did you want to watch AEW this Wednesday?
Am I going to watch AEW this Wednesday?
Did you want to watch it? After watching that match, did you want to watch AEW this Wednesday?
No, not really.
No, I wanted to watch the Slap Wars.
My problem with that is, it's like, now what? You know what I mean?
Exactly. And that, so like, to Brian's point, it's like, I don't think that we're ready for that conversation about how good Bryan Danielson is.
Nah, you got it right the first time. It's Daniel Bryan.
Whoever he's in the ring with, he's going to cater that match to that person to make you remember that match. Him and Kenny Omega, that match, they had that 30 minutes and they went to the end. I was on the edge of my seat like, oh, this is what we're doing. Every time he does something, it's like when he was in there with MJF, and I was listening. I'm like, why would they have to announce, oh, there's no wait time, you can keep on going? They were like, I was like, somebody gonna do it back to back. Oh, they did. Right. And that was the smartest thing. I'm gonna get this DQ, but I'm gonna get my pins right back to back. And just to see the whole, Tony Khan has ran into the hole with these false finishers, and this was the perfect time to do them because it had you on the edge of your seat, like, and granted, yes, MJF won, But before he went into that match, he came out the same way. I feel like I'm not more vested in AEW now than I was prior to it, because you got this cookie cutter heel who's the next person. He done made mention how many times he gonna say he the best in the world to plant the seeds for CM Punk coming back. Oh, right. Remember, I beat Hangman Adam Page for this diamond ring. All right, Tony Khan, we really tell a 3-year story still. You know, who's really going to remember that? Because you're vested in your company. Stop booking for you and start booking for the fans. Don't book for the 25%ers, as you know, Dwayne Allen says. Book to gain people to say, holy crap, this is what this company is doing. Because in the lineage of the AEW championship, it's like it goes like this.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's so flat right now. Do you really even care? And like MJF said in his post-match, and Brian, you might have to correct me on this one. He said, I'm not going to wrestle every week, you know, but you're going to remember each one of my matches. Yeah, but I think if you did wrestle every week, you would be exposed. You're going to see it. What works for him has been working at AEW, but it doesn't work for a world champion because you're not a Brock Lesnar, a Rock, a John Cena. You know, you're not in that conversation. Whereas though, if Kenny Omega, we didn't see him every week, we're like, oh man, where was Kenny Omega? Oh, he's on Impact this week. Oh man, where's Hangman? You want to see a world champion. You want to feel like, oh wow, let me go watch to see what they're going to say. Who's the next challenger? What's the next opponent? After this, I was like, I don't even care about AEW because I was like, yep, I gave it a whole chat. I committed to watching the whole show, and I was like, still nothing drew me in to want to watch it on Wednesday or Friday. And then the announcement tonight was all over Twitter, so that's a whole nother conversation.
Listen, I feel you, and I don't disagree with nothing you said. To be honest with you, I'll say this about MJF, and I think what they're doing with him is that's one thing they're doing right with him. Is that I've always talked about when you have a world champion, you got to give him meaningful feuds to make him important. Like you got to have quality wins over, you know, formidable opponents to say, okay, this guy's up next. I saw it with AJ Styles, Jeff Jarrett, Sting, Kurt Angle, and Samoa Joe. Like, and TNA did a really good job of that. And we didn't know how effective it was going to be because we always looked at TNA in comparison to WWE at the time, and it was always second. You know what I mean? Like, I was just, you know, but when you look at it long term, you're like, man, look at all those guys that came from TNA that benefited from having those feuds with Jeff Jarrett and Sting and, you know, Kurt Angle, so on and so forth. But after the match, we got some controversy. We haven't even gotten into the main event of the show. We took so goddamn long talking about WrestleMania 9.
I know, right?
MJF walks out. He grabs a cup out of a black woman's hand, sees her black child, and I'm putting color on it on purpose. And he throws the drink at the kid. I don't know what was in the cup.
Killer.
It was a cup. It was clear. It wasn't like that. They don't sell water in clear cups.
I'm just saying they didn't sell the tequila. Do what you want with that information.
And then he threw it on the child.
Right.
Brian H had a show early on, and he gave his thoughts about this. Did MJF go too far?
Absolutely.
Tell me why he went too far. Because he's a heel's heel. Isn't that what an old school heel does? Isn't it his job to piss off the fans to the point you want to kill them?
Yes. Yes. All right, so think about this. Miz girl. Remember how mad she was when Miz won?
Ooh,
how many times has a heel ripped up a side? It's an inanimate object that they're doing and to get heat. You can make somebody mad. You can get, he stays in character in the airports. He does all this. The only reason I'm saying he went too far, this is a child watching the show that's already going to hate you. You're pouring water or a liquid on this child.
Tequila, as Brian H said.
He poured tequila on the child. What message are you really? What message are you trying to say? We already don't like you. Now we don't want to be, because what if, and I know this may not be the platform to say it, take the race out of it and put a different race, what would happen? MJF would probably be canceled. He probably will be canceled right now. He will be canceled, stripped of the title, buried into Wrestling Oblivion. He would be somebody that we don't even talk about, because it'd be like, as of this moment, the next night, as of the press conference, MJF is suspended or something. But let's have Hobbs go up to him and smooth it over. Let's give him some free tickets. How do you know that child's not going to get bullied when they go back to school? And as y'all are parents on this call, how would you console your child at that point on national TV? Got something thrown on him. That wasn't cool. That was humiliating.
I got a swing so I don't look like a punk in front of my kids.
So here's the thing, right? First off, I said this. It's easy to say what we would have did, what we wouldn't have did. But when you look at the footage, you analyze it. First of all, it happened so quick, right?
Yeah, it was definitely quick.
And she had that shocked look. Like, this dude just take my drink? And if you look at what MJF did, right? He just flung it. It's not like he went over and purposely dunked. So now he has an out where he could say, oh, well, I didn't mean to hit him. Now, of course, he's in character. Now, me and Brother Hugh leaves character. The moment he's out of that locker room, he's in full, complete character.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen it in his interviews, right? It's one of those things. I do think he went too far, but I'm not surprised, and I don't think there's going to be consequences and repercussions because I think he got Tony by the testicular fortitude.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen that. We've seen how he acted.
He said on record, Tony Khan does not have the balls to reprimand MJF.
Not at all.
He's done.
Not
He
at
sat
all.
there and mocked Tony Khan during the whole interview. Oh, these are some delicious pickles. You want some pickles? Here, take these pickles.
So
I was like, he's really mocking them.
He doesn't turn it off.
Yeah,
he
but
does it.
But I'm just
And the
asking y'all
thing
as
is with-
parents, what would you do with your child at that point? Like even if you just flicked it, the fact that it's
But
seen on national TV.
Look how fast it happened. The child's reaction was a delayed reaction. So
Yeah, he was
like
got set.
and then
Like, what just happened?
exactly now
The whole AEW tied around his waist.
exactly.
And my thing is that this is not the first time this has happened because we know Keeks has gotten to it with comments that he's made about her daughter. And she was like, I was like, oh, you still watch AEW now? I know you're an AEW fangirl. Like that's your product, that's your tribe. And she's like, oh no, I'm going to the show because if I see him, it's on and popping. Like she was looking for smoke because she's like, this is one thing where there's a line that you're crossing. Brother Hugh, the MJF go too far.
He must have because Brother Hugh ain't put on the Burberry today.
Oh,
Or a
nah,
scarf.
nah, I was chilling. Today. But no, I mean, I gotta go back and analyze the video, the footage again.
You gotta go to the tape.
I do because if I'm listening to Bryan and he was like, yeah, he grabbed the cup, then he kind of like turned away and was running his mouth and just kind of flicked it. He didn't go and just like from initially when we started talking about it, it made it sound like because I didn't see it, you know.
Mhm.
It made it sound like, all right, yo, he just grabbed the cup and just literally just looked there in the face and was just like, and he just threw it in their face. I mean, of course he went too far with that. But if it was on some like, okay, all right,
I think
I'm
we
looking
might
this
get away
way.
with this one.
I could flick it, boom. It made it look like a mistake. Even if it wasn't. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he could probably get away with that because we already know what type of character he is and what type of person he is. And like Bryan said, we know this guy from years, for years.
Ooh.
Brother, are you watching this?
I missed it.
Brother, Bryan, can you run it back? Man. He looked at that kid and threw it at him, man. Come on, man.
I got it. I saw this is the first time I've watched it full screen.
Run the tape back. So I didn't mean to cut you off, brother. Look at him. He looks at the kid, looks at him, look at him. That's intentional.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's definitely.
Here's the thing.
He probably got paid off.
I don't think he meant anything. I think he was trying to be a heel. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah, he's just being MJF. That's what he does.
But it's like you don't know what's in that cup. Like look at he froze the tape. Look at the free.
Oh yeah, he
Look
did.
at the
He
tape.
did. He was like, "Hey, what's up? How you doing?"
It looks like a
Yeah,
work. I ain't gonna hold you.
Oh
that's what.
yeah, he
That's what.
definitely went to the.
Yeah, like
They swear it's not a plant, but it sure
nah,
here's
bro.
my
He
question.
got, they got paid.
Why
bro.
did he? Why all those people have cups around him? And I'm not MJF. I'm not there. I'm not a wrestler. I'm not anything. You picked the person that you know would get you the most heat. The child, right? Because you
saw
see
a
him
kid.
looking around, walking back to the ring. He like, oh, let me just do. I'm going to make sure that he's so on his character to make sure everybody hates me at all time. But you know, if you did that to a grown man, you would have got punched in the face.
Whole
And it
time,
definitely
whole time.
had
That's
that
a. I hate to talk about race, but that's a black lady. You know,
Mm.
daggone well. I know he threw something in my face. My mama going off.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's why I initially
So
thought it was
that's
somebody
she getting
planted.
paid. Yeah,
It looks
But-
like a work. I'm not gonna hold you.
because she
Yeah,
just
it did.
literally just standing there like nothing
Even though
was
they're
happening.
saying it's like, oh no, it was for real because Amanda Huber came out there and they got the kid a phone finger. It sure as heck looks like a
And
work.
Hobbs came down, and now they flew him to the show for Wednesday.
Will
or
Washington, who we all know, frightful. The shout out to the Grab City, but we know they the biggest AEW folks.
Mhm.
So yeah, I ain't realized like when I first saw it, I was like, oh, I didn't realize it was like that much in his face. But again, first of all, somebody try to grab. Have anybody ever tried to grab a drink from a black woman?
I mean, he could have done it though because it looked like he just caught off guard.
No,
she was recording them. She was recording them.
She was like this.
That too.
Like, but I'm gonna be honest with you though. He held it back. Like he didn't throw it in the kid's face. Like he kind of just like tossed the cup up so it came out. Like you could tell he didn't really mean to go like that to his face.
That's what I was saying.
You could tell he was like, I don't think he was trying to be like, oh, look at this. I think he was just trying to. It looks because when I saw it, I said this is clearly at work because he's not really like you could tell it's like why she just happened to be standing there with a cup of water in her hand and she's kind of a little further away. The kid's happy. Like what kid sits in the front row and he's sitting down watching the show? Like even as we're talking about, it makes less and less sense. You think about it. You got a front row seat. Are you really sitting down in the chair during a match? Like it's the main event. Like he's really just sitting there like he's sleepy. He might be. He's a kid.
Yeah, he might
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so like I give you that alibi.
And it's MJF walking past, not Daniel Bryan. So,
but still, it's a wrestler though.
But that's either way. Either way, you still should be hyped.
I'm a grown man and I'm 6'13",
especially if you just won.
I'm 6'12", as Brandon says. If I'm in the front row, I'm standing up. Y'all gonna have to be mad at me, brother. I'm in the front row today. I'm standing up. Sorry.
Yeah.
So it's like this kid he got his hood on. He just casually sitting there like nobody paying him no mind. And then I'm just like, well, I don't know if it's a work or not. It looks like it.
It looks like a work because he's not even showing his face.
Because the mother's like standing off to the side, like this is a cue. Like, hold on, how far to hold it out? She's like, who holds the drink like this?
Right.
It looks like it's water because I'm like, who sells tequila? And usually with tequila, it's a shot. It's not that much in a cup anyway. So we just launched the whole investigation. We just kind of like debunked this whole thing. Like
that's why I thought it was a work, and because it got real quiet after the fact.
It looked like it. Like it looked like it was meant to get him to draw heat for MJF. Like, oh, what if he threw water on the kid?
We all know how Black Twitter can be.
You know what it's supposed to do too? It took the tension off the fact that he had a 5-star wrestling match and a 5-star performance.
That's what made it backfire.
Bingo.
Yeah, that's what made it. I think whatever they were trying to accomplish, I think they had to. It sounds to me, this is just me investigation. It sounds to me like they probably kind of felt the vibe of what was going on. It's like, oh shoot, we gotta like play nice, like make on good company. That like, no, we let this happen at our show, but it's okay. It's because we're showing you that these things happen. We take care of the kids and stuff like that. When they might have been like, listen, we got a spot we're gonna have MJF throw a cup of water. Are you okay with that? You know what I mean? They might have been okay with it. And then of course they came out there and like, playing it up like, okay, cool. So it doesn't get out of hand, because everybody has social media and everybody has, because the minute it went down, everybody said, oh no, it's okay because Amanda Huber came out there to comfort the kid. And so also went and got him a foam finger. And then Tony came and sat with him like to try, because they knew that live audience was going to say, oh, holy crap, MJF went too far. You know what I mean? But I don't know. It seems
Hold on, they sent Big E Jr. out there.
Then we saw Powerhouse Hobbs.
Your new TNT champion, by the way.
Yeah, your new champion.
Scorpio
Oh,
Sky. What? Never mind. Anyways,
Yeah, he won.
He won. He's the new TNT champion. After Warlow got his stuff stolen, they was wrestling in jeans and t-shirts. They started fighting in the parking lot, didn't they?
that's a little blow.
He
But
cashed
they did.
in. He cashed in.
Like, why you here? He said, yeah, he got his stuff though. That's why he's not wrestling.
No, because he said it. He said whoever stole it took everything from me, but I'm gonna still be there to defend. I respect it. Like he was like, I'm still gonna be there to defend it. So they worked it into the title match, which works. That Warlow I respect more because he looked like somebody. Not that he don't look intimidating, but he looked like I came to fight tonight.
I like Ponytail Woodlow with the singlet. I'm just biased. But
this one tonight looked like I came for a fight.
he did like he came for a fight though. I mean, I'll give you that. But like I said, I know we're running a little bit late. Raw just started burning midnight oil, and we're gonna wrap this up with this last bit, man. This is really why we came here for the latest episode in As the Usos Turn. This was the show was supposed to be about before we started arguing about going to WrestleMania 9 and WrestleMania tapes. The bloodline thicker than water. You know how they say blood is thicker than water. Bloodline is thicker than water. All something on Monday Night Raw. Look, Brother Hughes was ones. Look, Brian H2. Is that 3? What are we doing here?
I'm about to take it back and start throwing the pinky up, the royal pinky up, like King Booker.
Like Booker T.
King Booker.
There it is.
I feel like I look like Montez Ford when I just did that.
You definitely did. Like you need a cup. Of
Get your solo cup.
So, as we go into WrestleMania, we know that the greatest soap opera in all of professional wrestling right now is this feud between the Bloodline and Sami Zayn. And now we have wrinkles added to it in Cody Rhodes. We have wrinkles added to it with Kevin Owens. And we go from criticizing AEW for lack of storytelling to one of the greatest stories in professional wrestling history. So many great elements to it, so many realism elements added to it. And we are in the space now where Jey Uso seemed to have had enough of Roman's tactics. We all saw what happened at the Rumble, and weeks after the Rumble, we've been questioning Jay's loyalty to what happened. Mind you, some things happened in between, and it seems like Monday Night Raw, gentlemen, we finally got our answer as we continue to move forward. I don't know if it's as simple as that is, but we're going to discuss it because that's what we're here to do. Jey Uso once again emerges from the crowd. Jimmy Uso versus Sami. Jimmy Uso had the task given to him by the tribal chief himself to take out Sami Zayn and finally put an end to this whole situation. Sami Zayn made it very clear that Jimmy Uso, his dog, my dog, is in a situation where he can walk away from Roman Reigns, right? And he made it very clear, this is my family. I don't care what we beefing about. We've been fighting since we was kids. Family is family. You turned on us. It's because instead of hitting nose in the face, you hit that's his perspective, which I respect because he's right. That's exactly what happened. And Sammy's like, nah, man, he put me in a bad situation because he didn't trust me. He accused me of something. So therefore, now Jay's like, man, come on, man. This is we saw what happened with Sami Zayn, and Jay felt some type of way because he's like, I've been in this situation before, man. I'm tired of this. So we began to question Jey Uso's loyalty. He made it very clear. He was loyal to his brother. He's shown up for tag team title matches. But Roman Reigns has been tracking down Jey Uso to figure out, where's your brother, Jimmy? What's he doing? Now Sami Zayn's going to pay because he's broken up my family. I mean, let's be real. So Roman Reigns has been surviving off the bloodline. The bloodline has literally been his lifeblood. It's because without them, man, it wouldn't be no 997,000 days, however long Roman's been champion. But we saw something pivotal in this story where Jey Uso, he gets in the ring, he dramatically hugs his brother, he grabs his shirt and he walks out. He looks at Sami, gives him a passionate hug, says something to him. Sami Zayn looks shocked before you know it, a kick to the face, and freaky, he goes nuts. He grabs that man by the face beard. He said this family-ish on TV. They ain't even block it out. They just let it out. They said, look, man, we good. It's almost 11 o'clock. We are. Just let it ride. But you can say that's word on TV now. He goes in the ring. The man pushes Jimmy off. Said, "You thought I was gonna choose you over family? I knew Jay was gonna be salty because he got speared. You know what I mean? Or he got whatever it was, the elimination chamber, whatever happened.
He got speared.
He got speared. And he was, and I said, man, he's probably like, you know, I'm ready to get my hit back, but this is the latest chapter, and we are who knows how many days out from WrestleMania. Now, my question to you all is, what does this mean going into WrestleMania? What does this mean for Jey Uso and the Bloodline? The Bloodline seems to be strong, seems to be united. It seems to be intact, and I say seems to be because you never know. So I was all in on what I'm telling you right now. Until somebody gave me a theory and had me thinking twice, and I'm not talking about Austin. So
who got buried by Cena?
Yeah, godly.
Yeah, we ain't even talk about that, but yeah.
That's why it's not a rundown for the night. We didn't have time for that. WrestleMania season, we're not getting to see the orange ball spot or anything like that right now.
We knew that was gonna happen anyway. So
but you know what? When you look at with Jey Uso and moving into WrestleMania, I guess because it's like it's obvious it's going to be a tag match. I just want to see Jey versus Sami because like this has been building with these two.
You can't do Jey versus Sami, and I'm gonna tell you why.
Why?
Straight Dolph Ziggler, they're gonna steal the show.
You got 2 nights.
That's true. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Continue. That makes sense. Because I'm not too excited about this year's WrestleMania as far as the matches are concerned. I'll be honest with you.
Really?
I'm more excited about the spectacle of it all. They got Cody Rhodes, like the show. But I'm looking at like, well, what are we really gonna get? It seems like it's a lot of replay matches. Think about it. Think about it. They're teasing like we're getting like, let's start at the top. And please don't, I don't mean to cut you off, so don't forget your thought. We're talking about we got a fresh matchup in Omos and Brock Lesnar, and I think that is more Hurt Business related than the actual match between those guys. Like I think that's a moment,
which got me excited.
Yeah, because you know Brock doesn't do matches anyway. Like he's like, I'm here for the moments, right? You have they're teasing Edge versus Finn, like they've been beefing for like 8 months now. You know what I mean?
6 years.
You know, we know we're getting Cody and Roman. We've known that since the Rumble. Like that's the top of the card. You know what I mean? We know we're getting Bianca and we're getting Asuka. It's like, well, who's supposed to be the bad guy in the group because everybody's cheering for crazy. Asuka just got back. Why would people be booing her? You know, let the best woman win. You know, you have Damage Control versus Lita, Trish, and Becky Lynch. Dream match. Okay, I appreciate that. And it's like, well, you know, you're looking at the rest of the card, like, well, and I'm not seeing too many blockbuster hits right now.
This is a Hollywood WrestleMania match.
Bray Wyatt versus Bobby Lashley, like stuff just not making sense, which is okay. Like I'm here to go along for the ride. I'm here for WrestleMania. It doesn't matter what you give me, but I'd be lying to you if I say I'm looking for the Cody versus Roman in this whole situation with the Bloodline. We see backstage Cody Rhodes he's talking to Kevin Owens, man, trying to get him on their team. You know what I mean? Like trying to figure it out what's going on. But you were saying something, Brian H?
Yeah, I'm so invested in the Jey and Sami of it all. Like, you know, for them to go from Jey not trusting him to that's being his dog, and they had the handshake to the heartbreak that Jey faced. I don't need nobody else in the match. I don't care if it's his brother and Kevin Owens. I don't need them in the match. Just give me Jey versus Sami.
So you don't want to do Kevin Owens versus the Usos?
Nah.
Why not?
Because I already know what's gonna happen. They're gonna take the tag titles.
And then they're gonna turn on each other by SummerSlam.
Kevin Owens and Sami. That too.
Kevin Owens gonna be like, I didn't forget nothing.
But it's like, what else do you do with them two at WrestleMania? He deserves a WrestleMania match.
I mean, I think it's a good feud. What about you, brother? What do you expecting from this? Were you happy to see the blood? I know Brian H was brother. Brian H has made it very clear he does not want the Bloodline to break up. I don't know if you were singing that same song, but I know he was adamant about it. He said, "Bro, I'm not ready to get this stuff. I'm not ready for this. It looked like they're imploding, and I'm not ready to give this up."
I didn't want Sami to leave, but he left, so he got to get this heat.
When Jey went down to Sami, gave him a hug, and then he stood beside him. This is exactly what I did. For some reason, I looked at what type of shoes Jey Uso had on.
Mm-hmm.
and I saw that he had some new fresh ones on. So I was like, he might not do anything. But then I saw like he took a slight step back, and kind of like looked out at the corner of his eye real quick. I said, yes, do it. Next thing you know, smack. I was like, yeah, boy. Well, the right-hand man is back. You know, Mr. Main Event, he's back. So, man, I was loving it. Honestly, I told Mr. Guy that this is what. Remember, y'all said I was gonna cry. Elimination Chamber.
I said that. I can go back and say, brother, I was
You
like,
cried.
make you cry, but I was like, yeah, they didn't really give me nothing. I mean,
This
that's
is
not what I thought it was gonna give me.
yeah, this is the type of ending I was looking forward to
Okay,
for Elimination Chamber.
got it.
I
Yeah. There you go.
You know what I mean? Like,
Because we kept saying something was missing, and it was that part right there.
right. I mean, it was the one at Elimination Chamber was it was all right. It was okay. It helped you. It got you over. But that's what I needed. I needed that type of finish in Montreal to really put me over.
But
you know what I'm saying?
But as said right here on the Wrestling Around Now podcast, the reason why we didn't, because if we'd have got that, people would be screaming for Sami Zayn right now, and Cody wouldn't be able to do nothing. I tweeted this. Has Sami Zayn cooled off? Not in the sense of his popularity or in the sense of him being, a quote unquote main man, a top guy, but has he cooled off as in this is the guy we want to see as champion? And I think he has. I think they did exactly what they intended on doing. They cooled him down just a little bit, and then they took us for this emotional ride because they wanted us to focus that on the Usos and Sammy, not Roman and Sammy, because then we would have wanted to see him get back at Roman. Now we don't. We want to see him get back at the Usos. And you just look at the distance. First of all, when I saw Jey come down there and
but do you though? My bad. Do you like say if you use that same thing that happened on Monday? You're still looking at Jey versus Sammy, not Jey versus Roman. You see what I'm saying?
But because Roman would call it a shot, though.
Not if Jey came back and did what he did. You know what I'm saying? That's all Jey's like doing on his own.
I got you.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you can still play it all, but it does make sense to leave that small gap in time to kind of let them, because we got down.
Especially Montreal, that crowd would have been even hotter than that crowd Monday just because of his hometown, and it would have been, it would have been crazy. But when I see this, I see I see Jey. When I saw him go in the ring with his brother, I said, no way. Anybody knows the twins? No, if it was no way he was going to turn, but the way the poetic storytelling, the opposite color we the one shirt, the different types of shoes, one long hair, one short hair, like it made you think, and especially when he grabbed him, but it was like, you're my twin. So then it made you like, and as Sammy just a professional. Come on, Jey. Come on, Jimmy. You still got time, and then when you saw that distance, I showed it to my mother. I said, "Mom, you gotta look at this." And then she was like, "He's going to do something to him." I said, "See, you've been watching wrestling long enough. You don't watch it no more. You could see it coming." And it was beautiful because Sammy shouldn't have turned.
It was beautiful.
Brother Brandon, were you okay with this? Were you expecting this? How do you feel about the bloodline kind of being intact and Jey Uso kind of drawing his line in the sand, making it very clear that I'm going to go with my family regardless, and you crazy for thinking otherwise?
We forgot one element.
Hello?
Solo hasn't been pinned yet.
Solo.
Wait, just house shows count?
No.
Not in the continuity of WWE and the announcers saying stuff.
Got it. Okay.
So fair. If you think about it, Solo hasn't been pinned. He's still a wild card. We're cooling down
raising his ones.
Huh?
He started raising his ones.
He started to, but now you see he stopped wearing the Bloodline shirt. He wearing his own shirt. The dust is real thick in this storyline because they didn't cooled off Sammy. And this is what I'm saying. I wanted that at Elimination Chamber just like everybody else. But then when I sat back and thought about it, it was like, we couldn't have it. So now we got it. Now I'm more intrigued on how does Sami stay relevant and the Bloodline stay relevant too without Kevin Owens, because I don't want him and Kevin Owens doing anything, because we all know as soon as they get it that feel good moment, Kevin Owens is going to turn. I'm tired of that. Like I'm just like, and to Brian's point, I almost want to just see Jey versus Sami.
Because you know what's going to happen. You know Kevin Owens and them going to be tag team. As soon as he drops his car, he's going to
He
turn.
does it all the
They
time.
celebrate.
That's how long we've been watching Kevin Steen. Like we've been watching him do it a long time.
Yeah.
It's the same story over and over again, bro.
I mean, and if this is only the second quarter, is that what you said, Brian? Before he said it's only the second quarter, they still got more to go.
Mm-hmm.
That's what
This wrinkle, I don't want to see. As much as I like Kevin Owens, I don't want him and Sami together. It just don't. Like, give me something different. Yes, WrestleMania is right around the corner. It's so predictable. I don't want it to be predictable. Come on, Triple H, give us the dust to keep me next year at Mania still caring about the Bloodline. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's so many layers that I'm still interested, but I don't want the Kevin Owens. And even with that backstage dust of, oh, now Super Cody going to come, hey Kevin Owens, you gotta listen, watch what I do. I'm gonna go save Sami. Cody, stay away from this. You focus on Roman. Cody, don't get in this mix. Stay away from it.
I think they've been very calculated with how they have placed the pieces together for this bigger story, right? And I'm okay with it, is because it's stretched it out. You know what I mean? Like from Rumble to Mania, they could have gave us everything like a minute after the Rumble, right? And like you said, we could have kind of put a nail in that coffin at Elimination Chamber with Sami, but it's like they gave us just enough to keep us coming back. It was the one thing you said about AEW when Dane Bryan and MJF, like, did you bring me back that Wednesday? You know what I mean? And I think that's what AEW, sometimes they have to sacrifice those small moments for these moments like this going into it, because it's like now we still don't know how Mania is going to play out. It's because they're dragging us. By this time, Vince would have kind of made it obvious. He kind of put it out there because he didn't care about any of that. It was just always like, let's just prepare for the greatest show on earth, WrestleMania. In March right now, I'm like, this don't seem solidified. Like usually by now it's supposed to be clear, you know what's going down in Mania, and you kind of can figure it out now. But now, like, wait a minute, you still add these wrinkles. Like we going to Mania, and I'm like, wait a minute, is Jey and Jimmy still on the same page? You know, and then all these things kind of happening and not happening. It's just like, man, they're still dragging these storylines out all the way up into WrestleMania, which is like we were wondering for like, well, how do you drag this out? How do you not get bored with this? And it's like, man, they're giving the world us our favorite soap opera. And it's like, so, and think about it. It's they did so WCW-ish. You know, every time I used to hate watching Nitro because as Diamond Dallas Page is going to be getting jumped by the NWO, and then Sting comes out and walks to the ring. He doesn't run, he walks.
He walks.
Sting walks to the ring, and here comes Tony Schiavone. Ladies and gentlemen, run out of time. We got to go. Good night. And you're like, bruh.
What happened? Only a live audience. But let me ask this question. Would you still want to see a tag match if they didn't have the titles?
Yes, because the Usos are bigger than tag team championships. The Usos are the Usos. They're a well-drawn, like, established brand of a tag team. Like, and they have other stories. Like, even if they weren't tag team champions, the stuff they did in the Bloodline still affects Sami. It still affects Kevin Owens. You know what I mean? And it's like the titles almost become secondary. Brother, he was talking about the situation with the women's titles, and I'm like, right now the women's titles aren't as important or effective in a way right now where people care about the title changing as much. It's because people are just the WWE audience is pretty unfamiliar with all the new faces, which is normal. You know what I mean? Like, the diehards, as I say, the 25% are going to know what's going on, but that big audience, it takes time. Like every time we've had somebody new, you know what I mean? It's just taking us long to gravitate toward them.
But see, to Hugh's point, he had this conversation with me the other day, and more and more I think about it, AEW and WWE got the wrong titles. AEW should have women's tag team, and WWE needs to have a secondary women's title. Because the way that the roster is set up in WWE, a secondary title for the women would work better than, because in AEW it's crazy. I see more tag team women wrestlers that are established or can be put together and work better. Because remember when Ruby Soho and Willow just
Right.
dressed alike, I was like, oh, that's something I actually do want to see. You know,
Right,
I
yeah.
didn't know it's the tag I wanted to see. You know, so but down at Brian H. Waters is back. We can get back to the bloodline, but that's food for thought. So
No,
you
it's
made a
definitely
point about
something to
that.
think about. You know what I mean? And I just, you know, it. I think we're automatically assuming that the tag titles are going to be defended at WrestleMania, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm starting to wonder, like, bro, I know Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are going to have some type of something with the Usos, right? And now I'm like, well, shoot, him and Cody Rhodes going to work together because I was surprised to see Cody Rhodes came to his rescue, and I was like, oh shoot, that's a different wrinkle because Cody Rhodes didn't have to come to Sami Zayn's rescue. He's already got his match to wrestle. He doesn't have to do anything. You know what I mean? So when
And
he
he just got
came out
blessed by Cena, so he really good.
pretty much,
Right.
Cena, that he's like you could tell that he's like, man, he finally got that respect as top guys. He's like, no, you're the man now. And I'm so proud of you. You can tell he was just like, man, I remember I was curtain jerking and coming out here with a mustache and the same suit I got on, wearing a mask. And now Cena's like, I'm so proud of you. You're the guy. You can tell. I thought that was it for Cody that night, right? He comes back out there running. And then if you notice, when he ran out there, he wasn't out there for a fight. Like he was just trying to keep Sami safe. And then he took off the jacket, like, all right, well, if any of y'all want smoke, come get it. You know what I mean? And I was like, man, it seems like now he's trying to recruit people to watch his back because everybody knows you go toe to toe with the bloodline, you're gonna get crushed. There's too many of them. That's the problem. And I wouldn't dare go to an Anoa'i Fatu family reunion.
No,
like,
sir.
in trouble. Like you talk about Samoan wrestling dynasty, like you don't even know half of it. So it's like, yeah. I think Cody's kind of being hip. Like, man, look, man, I've been around the block a few times, and I'm so obsessed with. I know I can't go toe to toe with Roman once. And he's like, Kevin, I know you and Sami not getting along, but come on, man, you guys together. There's nobody beating you two. At the end of the day. So it's like, I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, yo, I'm expecting, Sami, and I'm expecting freaking like the story now has shifted, right?
Yep.
Shifted. Now it's about how do we get Kevin Owens involved? How do we get him to put his issues aside so we can get this done? You know what I mean? First, it was like, okay, cool. And this is the crazy part. As you think about it now, because it shouldn't be this complicated, but I'm so glad that it is, right? There's layers to the story, right? Royal Rumble, Cody wins, bam, that's one story. Okay, now we got to get Cody involved with Roman. You don't even face off with Cody and Roman first. What do? Cody and Heyman. Cody and Heyman have a moment together, and Heyman starts talking about his history with his father. Boom, you're like, well, god dang, he did do that twice. So Roman, he just confronts Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns' promo against Cody Rhodes was ridiculous. I didn't know how to take it. Like Cody Rhodes will take it back. He says, "Oh, so you don't even talk trash. You just come at me with the truth." He's like, "Nah, I'm not here to disrespect your pops. All I'm saying is you weren't qualified. You never been here before, and I'm the most qualified guy in this ring. So whatever your father didn't teach you, I'm gonna teach you. May the best man win." And then and he was like, "No, and I was sitting there waiting, like, okay, he gonna say something slick. It was some type of twist. And Cody's like, "So I was expecting you to say something slick out the mouth, and you just give me the truth." He said, "Now it's not about me beating you. Now I got to beat you for other reasons because it's like
I got to validate myself."
Yeah, because now he started drinking the Kool-Aid that Paul Heyman's selling. Like, nah, see, Roman Reigns was the son he always wanted. And then when Roman Reigns did a freaking Dusty Rhodes impression, the crowd popped. I said, "Oh, Cody Rhodes, you in trouble."
Yeah, it did pop.
He's the bad guy in this situation.
Yeah.
And I was like,
crazy. He's the bad guy in the situation, but when his music hit, the place erupted.
What?
It was no booze. It was all cheers,
bro.
But
he's not getting booed anymore, yo. Like he's gone to a different space. So I'm like, so once again, that's one story. Now that's situated. So now Roman and Cody don't need to have no dramatic face off. They know it. It's the same way think about it. He came into the Rumble, and we're gonna wrap this up because we're going over a little bit. He came to the Rumble. He said, "I don't want to be a surprise entrant. I want to do something different. I want to be known. This is what I'm coming to do." He did that, right? He goes to an exchange with Roman Reigns. He's expecting Roman to be like, whatever. Roman goes, "No, I'm here to tell you the truth. May the best man win." Like, you're not really qualified. Have you won this one? How about this one? You know what? Your father, he's like, and Roman said, nah, man, I love your father way too much to disrespect him right now. I'm not even going to disrespect. Like a heel would have said, your father this, your father that. Like he said, no, I love your father. I got nothing. He's the one that told me that I was a guy. He told me when he said to Roman
You got
Reigns,
it.
you got
Right.
it. He said you couldn't get rid of it if you tried. I said, fool. Come on now. The dream tells you you couldn't get rid of it. Wanted to. And he's like, have you ever been in a situation? I guess not. May the best man win. And Cody was like, so you just gonna tell me the truth? You're not even gonna try to talk trash. You pretty much telling me like you were the son that my father wanted. So now me being you is not about this championship anymore. And you like, man, this is getting complicated. Now that situation, so there's no mystery about it's a showdown between epic proportions. They said, no, we're not doing that. So now the story moves on. Now, wait a minute. Now, what's Jay's focus? Because he's still beefing with his family. You don't know what side he's on. It shifts to another story. Mind you, we killing time, fellas, until WrestleMania. And we so caught up in this dumb soap opera, we just go along when I realize, like, yo, we trying to figure out how we going to get the Rumble to Mania, and we on this roller coaster now because we like, what's Jay going to do now? What's Jay going to do? He teases every week. He just kicks Sami Zayn in the face. Sami Zayn look like he making headway, and now he's losing momentum. Kevin Owens beefing with him. Jimmy Uso don't want no issues with him. Jey Uso just kicked him in the face. Cody Rhodes got his back. Cody Rhodes got his own hands full because he's still outnumbered. It's still 4-2. And you see him in the back trying to get a conversation with Kevin Owens, like, bro, Kevin Owens has failed against the Bloodline. He ain't never beat them not once. And guess what? Crazy part is Kevin Owens had Roman Reigns beaten in War Games. He had him beat on more than one occasion. But of course, the Bloodline got involved. So once again, that's another story. We don't know what Kevin Owens fits into this. We're gonna look up. We're gonna be like, God dang, we so worried about this dumb soap opera. WrestleMania is tomorrow. They slow walk and transition all these stories. I don't remember it being this complicated before. The Rock wins. He wants Austin. You got to face Mankind. You're gonna be for Triple H. You're gonna go to WrestleMania. That's it. Like I'm sitting there watching as the world turns, waiting every week for the last 15 minutes of the show to see what Roman Reigns or Jimmy Uso going to do and figure out what side we on now. So guess what? If today is Wednesday, by the time we get to Friday, who you think going to start the show? I'm almost sure it's going to be Roman in the United Bloodline. And once again, we're left with more questions than answers. I'm exhausted. I'm too old for this.
Right.
Like
what's going to happen in that showdown? You know,
it's bad enough with Bray Wyatt what he did when he first came back, but like they really went to this whole dramatic spiel to show us that Bloodline is thicker than water. And I really believe Sami's there. I thought he had a chance. I said, man, Sami's getting under their skin, man. And then he said, "You think I was gonna go against family?" I was like, dang. I felt dumb. I was like, dang, I ain't gonna lie. I thought he was too, though.
I thought it was a Civil War, bro.
He got me.
I just knew it was a Civil War.
I thought he was going to break the cycle, but Jay said, what? You thought he grabbed him by the beard like this, just grabbed him by his face, disrespectful. And he said, you thought it's family. You thought going to go against family for you? I was like, well, goddamn, you had me fooled, brother. I thought you was. So I'm exhausted, man. Like I said, but I don't have time to criticize the product because I'm sitting there scratching my head like, how did they pull me into this? And I'm overthinking this show that's on television twice a week right now.
Because it's so good. At the end of the day,
that's the art of storytelling. Not to quote Outkast in their famous song known as "The Art of Storytelling." This is what we have probably been missing for a long time leading up to WrestleManias, and I just keep reiterating that I'm having so much fun going along for the ride. It's because the way we consume wrestling these days is it's hard to get back that feeling of the way it was when we watched it when we were younger. It's because once you went off on Monday, Thursday, you had to wait an entire week. You might catch a replay on Saturday, but they was just going to tease you. They were just going to talk about what happened and show you a piece of a clip. And it's like, dang, I gotta wait till Sunday Night Heat. Sunday Night Heat was going to do the same thing. Oh, we're going to show you what happened with The Rock last week, but first you're going to watch Steve Blackman versus Goldust. And you sitting there watching Sunday Night Heat because you watching the matches, which pretty much the dog matches before any show, but you're going to watch the end of the show because they're going to show you what happened. And you're hoping maybe you get something different about the storyline you're looking at. And it's just enough to get you to that Monday. So now Monday Night Raw, you're like, phew, it's been a whole week, man. I got to figure out what's going on. Like, I need to know what happens next. It's tough to do that in today's day and age because we consume so much wrestling at the press of a button. But these bastards have found a way to weave these storylines. They're pulling us old dogs, the 25%, back to TV each and every week to watch our favorite soap opera as the world turns with the Bloodline.
Mm-hmm.
And Brian, you can vouch for this as a soap opera guy, as a guy that enjoys good storytelling, as you say, good elaborate storytelling. I don't remember a time where we have got something this elaborate for so long and just so many different wrinkles over and over again. Help me understand. Help me remember, because I don't see one.
Nope.
The closest
Mega
thing
Powers.
I think we had was, I don't even think he had a Mega Power, but the closest thing we had in modern time was the Rock is challenging John Cena next year. Because remember all the stuff on social media they did, all the stuff they was doing throughout the year. But that was just a year we knew what the end goal was.
Right.
It was just, they kept us interested for a whole year.
Yeah.
And that's probably the biggest story that under the old regime.
And I'm going to be honest with you, brothers. That's probably why I'm not like completely locked into WrestleMania this year just yet. Like I'm locked into WrestleMania season, like you know, it's the act of what we do. But I'm so wrapped up in trying to figure out how this is going to play out. I can't figure out what WrestleMania is even going to look like. It's because I'm too busy worried about what's going to happen with Jey. Now next week I'm saying to myself, well, god dang, what's going to happen with Kevin Owens? Well, god dang, what's the Bloodline going to do and say now? It seems like they're in full tow. Like, and there's no way for me to know that until next week. So I can't even focus on WrestleMania because I don't know what WrestleMania is even going to look like. I don't know about you guys. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I can't keep doing this. Like, what is this? Like, come on, man. Like, and guess what? I wouldn't like it any other way, man. So,
like I said before, I'm just excited and I'm enjoying it. So, I ain't got too much to say.
that's the beauty of it. This is why we have these type of conversations. But we appreciate you joining us, brother Brandon. You know, like I said, you told me anytime you feel the need to hop in and speak your piece, brother, come on and stop by.
Right.
But yeah,
we
man.
didn't even mention that we was at SmackDown on Friday.
I'm tripping. How was the freaking show? You should have said that at the beginning of the goddamn show, brother. I wasn't even paying attention to that part. But it's okay. People usually
so much been happening.
Yeah.
People usually listen to this part more than the beginning anyway, so it's okay.
The DC crowd was live as usual.
Mm-hmm.
Great show. We was there to witness that promo.
Yep.
And that was something different. It was something different, man. We already talked about it, so I ain't gonna go too deep in detail with it. But Brandon, how did you feel about it?
The crowd made a big difference. Like they were into it. I think one of the highlights, and it sucks that it didn't get shown, was Charlotte Flair didn't get booed.
Yep.
Charlotte got cheered like she was a legend.
She had
like
a gorgeous robe on too.
That's my baby. Oh my gosh.
She came up and her music hit. They instantly and then she was I think that she was one of the main attractions because even after it, her music had playing, she's walking around hugging people, signing autographs. I was like,
oh wow,
Charlotte's a natural baby face.
She was advertised.
But it doesn't translate on TV the way that I think they were trying to push her because it's Charlotte I saw on Friday is not the same Charlotte that's been pushed down our throat all of this time.
Oh wow.
She had a whole different. She
don't have that Vince touch.
Yeah, she had a whole different presentation. It felt like oh, you love me. Yeah, we love you. We want more of you. Like it was, and what was our match like 6 minutes or something?
Something like that.
She had more interest and more after the fact than she had match.
Exactly six and a half minutes of pure heaven.
He said 6.5 minutes.
And then of course Cody came out and he wrestled.
What did you do when what did you do when Cody came up?
Which time? Since you want to bring it up, don't beat around the bush. You know, I'm the wrong person to beat around the bush.
As soon as you said, "What did you do with Cody?" I knew what he was referring to. I was like, "Oh yeah, I saw."
You talking about the first time or the last time? Which one you talking about?
It was the first time.
The first time?
Yeah.
I showed you I know all the words to Kingdom.
Yeah,
Bro,
he
Cody
showed up
Rhodes
big.
had Brother Brandon singing like he was in the church choir. Like he was letting
Yeah.
it rip.
What?
I was like, man, you
All
better
the
sing that
verses.
song, Brother Brandon.
All the I didn't say something Cody Rhodes like most people
Nah,
say.
he said every word for word, and I don't know why they played the whole song.
Because
Why they play the whole
you got a
song?
live audience.
They said, "We got you, Brandon." Boom, played the whole
The
song,
music guy was gonna be in the building.
all 42 verses. I was like, God damn!
It's not 42 verses.
Everybody turned around, was looking at him like, okay, did you write it?
Well, you know, I'm a former WWE employee, so you know, we got fired again here until the next time.
I know, right?
But they'll be back. They'll hire us back again. Don't worry.
Yep. Yeah,
Well, brothers, we did it again. I don't know when the last time we did a 2-hour show. It's been a while.
Been about probably 6 weeks.
Okay, we try not to do this, man, but Brian H he had to talk about WrestleMania 9. And it's okay though. It's okay. It's like it wasn't a negative. This time it wasn't a negative conversation. It was a conversation that needed to be had because it was the appropriate time to have it because it's WrestleMania season. And I completely understand. No, Megan, I was not hating. She said I was hating on like I wasn't.
I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch this WrestleMania.
I'm about to do the same thing, but
I'm gonna have to.
Come on, man.
It's on stupid Peacock, so by all means, man. But you just
because always talking about this WrestleMania.
Personally, you're gonna be disappointed, but the main event was good. Bret Hart did his thing. Shawn Michaels had a match too, but that was the era Shawn Michaels I wasn't a big fan of.
I remember the build up for that Shawn Michaels match. I just knew Tatanka was going. He beat him twice. I said, yeah, my guy gonna win the belt. I was a Tatanka fan too at the time, so
I was.
Tatanka was the man, bro. He used to come out skipping.
Whoever was on the cover of the WWF magazine.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, Dennis.
But
yeah, I'm gonna have to. But you know the crazy part, I remember the WrestleManias. When I see the logo, I'll be like, "Oh yeah, that Mania." The logo is attached to the moments there. You know what I mean? Like I always remember those. So.
Live in Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Bro, we gotta do a WrestleMania 9 like watch along. We gotta figure out how to do that. Like it just gotta be just.
The world's longest toga party.
I'm definitely gonna fall asleep.
Jim Ross's debut,
wasn't it?
Huh?
Jim Ross's first WrestleMania, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Was it?
I know all these facts. I know all these facts about WrestleMania 9. Like I'm telling you, I knew a lot about WrestleMania 9.
Oh look, there's Dylan. There's Dylan.
Dylan in the house. It's like you know him as Howard Finkel, but today he's Finkelmus Maximus.
Man, I watched Macho and Steamboat again, man. You talk about fire matches.
Like when I watched that match for the first time, because everybody talked about it, and of course it was on the DVD. I mean, it was on the tape. I watched it I was like, "Yo, you talk about a masterclass of professional wrestling." So I like laugh when I hear about Macho Man. Like he like mapped out that whole match.
I was about to say
2 minutes in armbar.
And it called him.
Literally counted the moves. It was like 160 something moves. And Ricky was like, "Look, man, I went out there. I wasn't even afraid of the crowd or this and that, whatever. I was afraid that I was going to mess up on the moves." You know what I'm saying?
When you watch the match, you're like, okay, that makes sense. I'm literally watching like, and it wasn't like a spot fest. Like everything made sense, and it wasn't rushed or nothing. I'm like, how do you move at that speed and not rush? Like I said, that's
if next week, the way these stories develop, we can't even take a week off for talking about the storylines. I was gonna say we just had to do a WrestleMania special where we just talk about WrestleManias.
Like I'm trying to fit one in somewhere. Something keeps happening. Like this week could have been that week. I kind of put it in there, but it was with the MJF stuff and the women and Women's History Month as well. And in this situation, I was like, bro, I'm assuming at some point they're gonna calm down and say, all right, this is what we're gonna relax so we can start working our way into Mania. And
it might be the next 2 weeks.
Triple H is like, nah. So
that's all right. I'm loving it though.
Yeah, but let's go home.
Fellas, it's time to wrap this up.
Shout out to Mr. King. He said about the belt collection.
He has the international belt.
Also, shout out to the Public Enemy celebrating their 5th anniversary today.
Oh, listen to me. Yo, the Public Enemies podcast Twitter account. First of all, it's one heck of a show. Like,
and that's just the podcast Twitter. The podcast is a heck of a show too.
The podcast is unbelievable. Don't get me wrong, but then like the Twitter account is almost its own entity. Top 5 funniest, like favorite accounts. Like if I need a laugh, I know they catch everything. Just that sense of humor. Just their delivery. I'm like, yo, the timing is always impeccable. Like I can't give them enough credit, man. They keep me cracking up on my Twitter timeline. So definitely shout out to them in their 5th year anniversary.
Yeah.
But
JL, what you talking about? Do we agree with what?
I
think he agreed. Never mind. We ain't gonna be here all night.
No, we ain't doing it. We're gonna wrap this up, ladies and gentlemen. Join us next week, same bad time, same bad place. Let me get my iPad so I can say the right stuff.
Like buy a shirt. These joints comfortable too. I like the way they fit. You know,
it looks good though. Like I
bring out the muscles. The Jack Daddy was on his way. I don't know why they send them all at the same goddamn time, but
I don't know why. I think they have different manufacturers.
Because Drew said the same thing. He got this shirt and this one didn't come.
Bro, that it looks good the way they turned out really, really well. So I can't. In the next couple of weeks, I'm gonna be loading up on all my designs from all the different entities that I've worked for.
I like this one a lot. I ain't gonna lie. I saw it. I was like, ooh.
That one looks really, really good. I like that one a lot.
Superior wrestling intellect.
You got the whack daddy.
Right there. See how you slid that one in there right there?
Right there on the bottom. Yeah.
Yeah, so if you
no. Yeah, let's go home. He said Braun Breaker's the best wrestler in the world. We'll be here in 10 minutes.
Yeah, he on that.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll talk about that next week. Maybe. Next week. I might rant about that.
Holla if you hear me.
Houston, we have a problem.
Yes!